is FCC? Well, our About Us is really about you, the goals you want to reach, and the dreams you have. You're invested in your business, and as the only lender 100% invested in Canadian agriculture and food, so are we. Because a dream is just the start. It also needs a lender who understands where your dreams come from, where they can go, and what it takes to get there. If you want to start, grow, or transform your agriculture or food business, we can help. Because we're not just your lender. We're your champion, your catalyst, and we're behind you every step of the way. We are FCC. Dream. Grow. Thrive.
What is also different at Bovtech is our technology. So it's all good if you have attention to details, but if you don't have a good technology, it's not going to work. So we have a unique culture medium set of system also that we've all developed in-house. It's all made here, developed here. And this is offering like a very special embryo to the customer. We've been unique in a sense that we've been the first to release a freezable embryo that you can use direct transfer to get pregnancies, and that really proved the top quality of embryo we're producing. And we've been the first, and we're still the leaders in the industry in that regard. And I would also that one other thing that differs Bovtech from the competition is where we differentiate ourselves is our passion. So the passion of the staff is really unique. We include them in the development, in the optimization of everything we do. I would say that we're never totally satisfied about the results. It's never enough, it's never good enough. And this is the thinking we have, so we need to really always look at what could be optimized, what can be modified.
Who is FCC? Well, our About Us is really about you, the goals you want to reach, and the dreams you have. You're invested in your business, And as the only lender 100% invested in Canadian agriculture and food, so are we. Because a dream is just the start. It also needs a lender who understands where your dreams come from, where they can go, and what it takes to get there. If you want to start, grow, or transform your agriculture or food business, we can help. Because we're not just your lender. We're your champion, your catalyst, and we're behind you every step of the way. We are FCC. Dream. Grow. Thrive.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now entering the ring we have class number 8, the intermediate milking yearling. And also in this class we have one milking junior yearling, which I think is probably the first. This class is sponsored by EastGen and Select Sire Generations. Now entering the ring, the intermediate milking yearling.
Okay, we're on. Okay. Oh yeah, we had that move up too.
So I'd like to welcome everybody back for the cow portion of the show today. Here at Ancaster Fall Classic, we had an extraordinary heifer show with extraordinary champions named, and Russell will start telling you about our milking yearling class that's coming to the ring at this point. Russell.
Well, what a great way to start the milking class with Cuddles, who is just leaving, I think, your screen right now. That's Maker Chrome Cuddles, moved up from the dry intermediate yearlings to the milking yearlings, and so she's a Chrome daughter out of a shyster. Then if we go into the animals that we're expecting to be in the milking class, we have going to have 5 in total. Just there's some history being made here. We have a milking junior yearling, Tanbark Victorious Maybelline, lot number 49 in your catalog, a daughter of River Valley Victorious. This is perhaps the first time in history, Jamie, I may break down, that we've had a milking junior yearling. Jenny and Wes have presented us with a March 2019 heifer that has been in milk for a little while now.
Well, hold her together, Russell, but boy, what a frame yearling with a mammary. We all know how much energy and feed it takes to grow the frame and to still be able to reproduce and now produce. And she stands in here, as I look across the ring, right with them in regard to her age.
Exactly. There's some stuff we're going to ignore here. Lot number 50 in the catalog is Sprucefire Colton Fame. She's a Colton daughter out of a minister from the Bromley family at Westmeath, Ontario, and I believe the minister was a 92-point cow as well. Very strong cow in the Tanner Bromley and his new wife in their breeding program there. And then following that, we've got 2, I think, full sisters here. Lormier is number 51, Lormier Tequila Hanny, E.T. She's a tequila out of Genesis Excitation Hannah, who I believe is a 95-point cow. And following her is her sister, Lormier Tequila Hen, E.T. Both of them are exhibited by Desrosiers, J. and C. Sicard, and Pierre Boulet. And they are both tequilas out of the 95-point Genesis Excitation Hannah. So that's kind of a cool class. We've got 1 out of a 92-point cow, 2 of them out of a 95-point cow, and the record-breaking milking junior yearling as well. March 23rd of 2019 for that Victorious daughter.
Well, this March 23rd junior yearling heifer that's milking in front of us right now, she's coming around to this side to where we can see all angles of her. And what a nice cow, beautiful with the rear udder. Carries out really nice on her rear set of feet and legs and holds her frame together ever so nicely. But she's just not here because she's young. She's here because she is young, also very, very good. And what a development this cow will take on. Age is going to be on her side as we view her going around the ring at this point.
And I've just had an update from Tanner Bromley that the dam of his heifer is actually 94 points, not 92. So I misspoke, and I've tapped myself on the hand for that. So she is a 90 out of a 94-point cow, and then we've got 2 heifers at a 95-point cows. So that's kind of a cool collection here. Colton out of a minister is that number 50 that's here. And right now you're seeing the daughters of the tequilas out of that 95-point Hannah cow. Interesting class, Jamie, in that you see the development that these cows are going to have as they get older, and they're just early in their productive lives, maybe a month, 2 months, maybe 3 at most, starting out and gaining some body and getting body back after calving, and you kind of visualize what they may look like next year as senior 2-year-olds as well.
Well, and this is where a lot of great cow guys are great cow guys, from the standpoint that they're able to look into these heifers and look at them and look into what they're going to make. They're raw, they're not fully developed, they're babies in their own right, but you can see the way the udders are welded on in their attachments and their definite their spacing between teats, the length of frame, all the things about them that may not be polished yet, but that is the time will take care of those things. And unfortunately, some people want these milking yearlings at times to look like they're 2 and 3 and 4-year-old cows, and those ones usually don't make the better older cows. Some of these that are a little more, what some people say are immature sometimes, are typically the ones that make the better older cows that are champions later in their lifetime, Russell.
I think that's a really good point, and I keep thinking back to a guy like Tom Byers, former head classifier at Holstein, who was so big on balance, the udder fitting the cow, and maybe at any stage of development, Jamie, that the udder size is appropriate for the amount of development that the individual has body-wise as well.
Totally agree. And these young heifers, as they get developed, it's not always about the depth of rib that they have in terms of their midsection, but it's the turn to the rib, the openness of that rib, the way it comes off of their chine to spring off that top versus being a more slab-sided type of an animal. These are the kind that make make cows later on in their life, as we all know.
It's really interesting to see Jeff stand back there like he's doing right now at the ring and taking a long look at some of these. Lowell Lindsay once told me that when you're judging, the most important thing to do is to stand back and watch animals come into the ring from a distance and let those impressions get there, and then go in and do your close examination of the cows afterwards as well.
Totally agree, Russell. Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, they've and Pierre has got the nod here on one of those daughters of that's Behan as opposed to Hanny, and maybe full sister is maybe getting the look in as second. So those are the tequilas out of Genesis, Excitation Hannah, and it's been interesting, real tribute to Paul and Virginia Warwick and their program. We've seen a lot of Genesis.
Oh, absolutely.
It was 2 years ago that dispersal sale was held at the farm, October of about the 12th of October in 2018. We got some differences now.
Junior yearling, Russell,
yes,
in the middle
of the pack.
Which is really neat to see.
The history maker is getting a look in here. And so in this case, we can see that Jeff is looking for those heifers that are still heifers, that are not overly developed, that aren't,
No, that's exactly right. Once them balanced, mostly once them correct, and they let maturity take over from after the show to make them into a more mature animal in their midsection as well as their mammary system.
Exactly. And get them calved out a second time and see what happens then. But boy, those are 5. Milking yearling classes can have a lot of variation in them, but look at what we're seeing here. These are nice young cows.
Very much so, and very consistent across all the way through. Not one that doesn't deserve to be here, and very happy that they all are here for us to view.
As we say, at the moment, we've got the 2 full sisters, the ET full sisters in 1 and 2. And we'll see if Jeff... I think he's really thinking on this class. I noticed he was looking so serious when he was back there from a distance, really making sure that he's seeing exactly what he thinks he sees and thinking about the priorities in terms of traits and what makes a class winner. Yep, still some little bit of thinking going on here. Isn't it bizarre? It's funny, the way things can change in a year, because a year ago we all would have thought that we'd be down in Toronto today watching a great Jersey show down there, and that nobody would be wearing a mask or anything or being concerned about health concerns. Our world has changed. So,
absolutely, Russell.
There's a lot of deep thinking going on here. I think it's just interesting to let people see what's happening live here. And I guess he's going to leave them the way they were.
He likes what he's done.
His first lineup is going to be potentially his last lineup.
I think he's got him where he wants him, at least at this point, Russell. And you start looking at how he has him lined up, it seems to make quite a bit of sense. And in consistency with his frame that he wants on his animals, but also the mammaries are very much fitting at this point in time.
And it's going to be interesting to hear the reasons on this class as Jeff is thinking about first calving animals that are quite close, quite recently fresh as well. And wonder if you asked Jenny about her heifer and how old she is. It'll be interesting to find out as well, which I'm sure he did. And
you know, the nice thing about shows is we've seen variants in all kinds of different sires and cow families represented. But, you know, shows are so valuable even today, and people from a spectator point of view. And Russell, I think you've talked to more Jersey producers and breeders than I, but it's the same for Holstein producers and breeders. That you get to see the examples of some of the patterns that the sires of the cows are making, the heifers that we saw earlier today. But now going forward, how are sires making these 2-year-olds, but more importantly, after these daughters of certain particular sires calving for the second and third time, which is probably what really we were all anticipating and hoping for, good things from some bulls that were young in their careers early on. But the most important thing is how are they finishing their careers, is their daughters becoming older cows. But we'll see here in the next hour or two, but it's a good start for these bulls that are represented here in the cow class.
You're exactly right. And a bull that'll be interesting is the Excitation bull. He was an unusual bull in that his daughters really improve as they grow older. We've got to judge.
The result of the intermediate milking yearling class, Class 8. In first place, ring number 52, the entry of C. de Rogier, J and C. Sicard, and Pierre Boulet with Lormier Tequila Hannah. In second place, ring number 51, the entry of C. de Rosier, J and C. Sicard, and Pierre Boulet with Lormier Tequila Hanny. In third place, ring number 49, the entry of Jenny Butcher with Tanbark Victorious Maybelline. In fourth place, ring number 43, the entry of Maker Farms Incorporated with Maker Chrome Cuddles. And completing the class, ring number 50, the entry of Tanner Bromley, Spruce Briar, Colton Fame, and now with his reasons on this class, our judge for today, Judge Stevens.
Really nice class to start out our milking classes here this afternoon here. I think we have 2 young cows that come to the top for me. I think our first place young cow, when you see this young cow on the move, she has a little more strength and she's a little tighter through her parts for me. A heifer just a little nicer through her loin structure, a little more nicer blending all the way through. Both heifers on top have great mammary systems that go with them. Our second place heifer, I think it's just the way this heifer's put together down, especially down through her leg where she flexes through her hock. I think a heifer was just a little more venation and chrome to her udder today than the heifers followed in third. Third place heifer, the youngest heifer in the class, heifer you admire for length of frame, prefer the way her forudder blends into her body wall over our fourth place heifer. Our fourth place and fifth place heifers very similar in their makeup. I think our fourth one, just a little dairy, cleaner cut all the way through. A heifer I'd love to change the way she blends in her forudder, but a heifer that's got a little more quality to her mammary system over the fifth place heifer today.
Thank you, Jeff. And again, the results of this class, 49 was third, 50 was fifth, 51 was second, that's Lormier Tequila Hanny. 52 was our class winner, Lormier Tequila Hannah. And transfer 43 was fourth.
We'll just change the name. Doug is making a beautiful noises like that. And just to show you what Doug Green is doing at the moment, a man of many talents.
That is for sure. Just discussing how long this milking winter yearling class has been in effect, a couple of years now, and certainly so these animals will not turn 2 until next month. So here they are milking. They're 23 months as we speak right now, and obviously there's one in the middle of the ring. It's 18 months. So the point being is the growth of feeding programs, the genetics have enabled us to have these animals very comfortably producing milk at an earlier age, and very comfortably at an earlier age. And so now going into the traditional milking yearling class, where typically these have been fresh anywhere, or the age has been September, October, November, they're coming to the ring and may have been fresh equally as early as the milking winter yearlings. But with that extra development and time, certainly shows a little more capacity, the mam raising capacity, the midsection, Russell.
Well, this Class 9 is sponsored by Willow Creek Genetics, and we have Richard Osborne from Willow Creek leading the first animal into the ring. She's a black apple out of a Branson, probably from that famous Jess family. Again, her dam is from Genesis as well, relatives of Teresa and Richard as well. Next, we have the legendary Sandy McGilvery again, leading an excitation daughter from Charlene, number 54. And she's an excitation out of an impression. That'd be Rockella impression, as opposed to monument impression, Jamie.
Exactly.
And then we've got our next animal. Matt Lang is leading Edgeley Tequila Postscript from Quality Holsteins and Joey Bag. She's a tequila out of a region, and she's right on your screen right now, that dark-colored heifer that's there. Then we have another legend, Bruce Sales, leading Brydon PNV Embrace. Now, Embrace was the third high seller in the Gone Global sale this year. She is now owned by Ernest Kufner and Terry Packard in Boonesboro, Maryland, and she is a viral, and she is a granddaughter of the evening cow at Brydon. So she was bred at Brydon. Her dam is Legion Essence, a BW Legion. So she's the fourth animal in the ring. And then we've got the Dolsons, Alex and Angela, with another viral daughter out of Coop Ferocious. Cow that unfortunately passed away recently down at Weeksdale, 95-point cow by a Tower View Coop. So this is a grand animal and a great-grand animal, Jamie. I just thought I'd mention that. Pretty excited to see 57 in here for the Dolsons. 58 would be coming from Carrie Alexander, Maker Farms Incorporated. She's another smoke show daughter. Carrie has shown one already today out of a Comerica dam, and she's 58. And then there's Glenn Burgess with a heifer who's already had some notoriety this year. Golden Joyride Louisa, the intermediate champion and reserve grand champion of the Lindsay Show in early October. She is a Joyride out of a Comerica dam, and she was the junior champion at the Royal Winter Fair last year.
Quite a career.
Heifer already
had young, and also right now as a winner is a milking yearling.
Exactly.
It looked extraordinary in Lindsay a month ago as we called the show here that day, Russell, and today she hasn't slipped a nickel.
No,
she is right
in fact,
on the money
she's a
today.
little farther away, a month and a bit farther away from calving and settled into her role as a milk cow.
Absolutely.
Next is Mixing Moves Validation Champagne for Amy Elliott of Right On Validation son, he being out of the Veronica and Virginia family, and her dam is a tequila as well, and the Elliots have got a number of animals, Mixing Moves animals here today, so we're pleased that they're here. Then we're back to another Willow Creek animal, and this is a Tequila Ruby. She's owned by Willow Creek Genetics and Jeff West, and Teresa Hondrick Osborne is on the halter. Tequila out of a Gunman, so that'd be some Steve Borland breeding there. And then finally, in a minute, we've got John DeVries there taking a good look at the heifer that Teresa's showing. And then Sandy Kingdon, one of the two lead organizers for this great show, is showing Charlene Excitation Suki, an excitation out of an action verb, and she's number 62 in your catalog. So there's 10 milking yearlings. Now we are getting into that Royal Winter Fair range, Jamie, where there might be 15, 18 milking senior yearlings at the Royal, and this is quite a spectacular
Well, and
presentation.
one thing we are in Royal Territory on in years past is equality. Some of these animals in waltzing the ring are just on the money. Their mammaries are full, they're cleaned off, their rib is back, and they're starting to come into the program that the top end of the Royal Winter Fair milking yearling class looks like. And I think it's pretty evident even on screen versus in person even to see that.
Okay. We should actually find that out. We could find the sales. Okay, thank you. So we have got a very, very competitive class on here. This is an exciting moment. I need to talk a little louder here and get that going. We're getting some research done by Jamie as we speak. We've sent out our researcher, but folks, this is a class and a half that we've got going on right now. We got a cow show going on, even after that great milking intermediate yearling, which has become a facet of Jersey shows, and now we've got milking senior yearlings. So these would be from September on till the end of December, 1st of December.
Yes, Russell, lots of quality top to bottom in this class, and the judge certainly has his work cut out for him today. And as you mentioned, a couple previous winners in this class, this beautiful 59 Golden Joyride Louisa, who did very, very well at the Fall Invitational Show in Lindsay. But you see the importance of cow families throughout this class, as you can go back 2, 3, 4 generations on these cows, Russell. And I just want to thank you and Jamie for the wonderful job you've done with the online commentaries here today. And now Jamie's back.
Well, we have got a correction here, and we're glad to get it, in that the heifer that Brydon is showing for Terry and Ernie down in Maryland is a sister to the heifer that they bought in the Gone Global sale at the end of August. So they're really convinced about that combination as well. Viral on that Legion Essence cow.
Yeah, I think. Well, Russell, you saw the one that they bought, and as well as I, and this one here, you can see the similarities. And back earlier in the year, I saw them, and they are peas in a pod in terms of their similarities. It doesn't take a genius to see that there's full sisters. they exhibit, which just goes to show how true that family breeds, and most of the great families in our breeds, whether it be Jersey or Holstein, breed like that. But I think another worthy and intelligent acquisition of Ernie Kiefner and Terry Packard down in Boonesboro, Maryland.
And speaking of Terry, it was amazing to see her judging the Jersey Jug futurity class on Sunday last week with Richard Caverly from Maine. And what an outstanding professional job they both did. And Terry just looked like the consummate professional with what she was doing, both in her examination of the classes, her placings, and her reasies as well.
I totally agree with you. And it was high time that a person of Terry's experience and knowledge, as well as Richard Caverly, was on exhibition, and good for the breeders and exhibitors of the Jersey Jug in 2020 to have such a great pair out there judging. And there's all kinds of, we'll talk about certain industries or men's worlds and what have you, but there's so many great women in our industry that have excelled, and certainly in the judging ring portion of our business. People like Alta May Core comes to example from back home in Kentucky. He's done a great job of showing her judging skills at national show levels, international shows. Terry Packard is one of those type of judges that works with great cattle, purchased, developed, bred good cattle, and without question can judge good cattle. And with the experience of our good friend Mr. Richard Caverly in Maine, it's good to see him out there in the middle. What a great associate to have for Terry with the knowledge and experience he has as well.
And obviously meant the world to Richard to work with such a good friend as well as Terry, because they've been friends and worked together at events for years. in that. And yeah, there's 4 sisters there by Viral out of that Legion Essence cow, and we're seeing her right on the screen right now.
Milking senior yearlings are now in the ring. Please bring your junior 2-year-olds to the marshalling area. Junior 2-year-olds to the marshalling area, please.
So yeah, Jeff is getting a workout, as is John in this class, and we're keeping Doug Green busy, keeping them moving at a good distance from each other as well.
That's right. They're earning their pay right now, and you know, they earned that big monstrous hot dog and chips and water they had for lunch. So it's good to see that that's getting paid for right now in this milk and yearling class. I'm sure there'll be other classes as well, but my, oh my, what a class of young cows to view today.
And there's Joyride Louisa, another River Valley bull. So again, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Hurst, and the Souder family and Brad Barham would be thrilled to see how she's calved out. We've just got one River Valley side animal. Yep. Joyride got pulled, and the Viral is in second. Kind of makes. We thought those two would be the contenders, Jamie.
We did. There's some other ones coming along that are very, very great in their own right, but these two, with the mammary systems they possess, the squareness of front ends, and you know, this one of the things that's been talked about in our breed of Jerseys as well as Holsteins, is to have, we want these rear feet to motor the right way, but you know, the front wheels on the car have got to steer the animal the right way too sometimes, Russell, and we have cows out here and barns left, right, and center that you don't know if they're going to turn left or turn right, and by virtue of how they track on those front legs. And I think that's going to be one of the things that Jeff looks at and has looked at and will look at continuously through the show today.
Boy, this is going to be a picture and a half. And you're seeing it right now, folks, on your screen as well. These, both the udders and the barrels and the capacity and the frames of these young cows that are in the senior yearling class. You know, the height, the width of rear udder on them, the way that the width carries all the way up. They're really square udders, I think, as you mentioned. And so we've got a Tequila daughter in third there from Willow Creek as well. And just, wow. This is, they've got the wow factor, this group, anyway.
And you know, as you said it earlier, in the milking yearling classes, you get all kinds of shapes and sizes in regard to different stages of lactation. A couple of weeks can make the world of difference in how much capacity some of these young cows are accelerating their milk production at this early stage of their life. And, you know, we know that some of the milking yearlings that do excel calving earlier, so they can have that advantage of time to get them where they need to be. Taking nothing away with some of those that may not have the capacity quite yet, but in time, they could look a little differently, say, if we had a show near Christmas, to be quite honest with you, Russell. Doesn't mean they're made not the right way, but they just don't have the advantage of time as well sometimes.
Yeah, and to have 10 of them like this, and so Jeff is now making his second pull and bringing these animals together, and the top 2 have stayed in the top 3, maybe pretty well so far. Most all of them have stayed where they were on the first pull. So again, seeing them and getting it straight in his mind, and then just doing a double check to make sure that he's got his priorities together.
Yeah, you can make the odd switch here and there, just to double check in case you miss something, because there's a lot to think about. And typically the top 3 or 4, you're concentrating more so on those than you are the next 4. And when you get to full concentration and the eyes set and focus on those, the change can actually happen. But Jeff knows what he likes, and he's sticking with it as we see it here today. Glenn and Sheila Burgess pulling in right now with their first place milking yearling as it stands. Just a great, Glenn and Sheila and the family have done such a great job of exhibiting, but breeding, being master breeders there at their place. Do just an extraordinary job. You'll see more of them today with the cows that they bring out, and are a consummate staple of winning ways, and really have accelerated that here in years recent with the cow families and breeding patterns that just a great hats off to those to the Burgess family thus far.
I think Master Breeder Awards in both breeds.
Both breeds, exactly. Just like as we talked about Brought On earlier, they've accelerated in both breeds of having that Master Breeder Shield plaque from the black and whites and the jerseys both, Russell.
Which is pretty darned amazing to think that, you know, when you move into a second breed and get it developed. And at Brydon there were Jersey folks who got into Holsteins later, you know, as part of Brian and Donna's career as the boys were growing up. And in Burgess's case, they started with Holsteins and then have added Jerseys, and I think have a herd that's probably 50-50, somewhere 55-45 one way or the other on breeds, but high quality, you know.
Well, they know that the phenotypic look that they want in either breed is a staple, and that's great to see.
The result of the milking senior yearling class: in first place, ring number 59, Golden Joyride Louisa from Glenn and Sheila Burgess. In second place, ring number 56, the entry of Ernest Kupfer and Terry Packard with Brydon PNV Embrace. In third place, ring number 61, Willow Creek Tequila Ruby, owned by Willow Creek Genetics and Jeff West. And in fourth place, ring number 62, Charlene Excitation Suki, owned by Charlene Jerseys. And now with his reasons on this class, Judge Stevens.
Really nice to see a large class of milking yearlings out today, but I think we have a handy winner for me, a heifer that's got balance from end to end, a heifer that's got strength and power, also dairy quality and openness of her rib, with a well-attached mammary system. I think it's just her overall balance and openness of rib cage takes her over the second place heifer. Second place heifer follows in quite nicely in her dairy quality and her lines that she has. Heifer you'd love to maybe open her up just a little more in her rear flank, but a heifer that exhibits that length of foreudder I'm looking for today. And I think that length of foreudder and the height and width of rear udder attachment takes her over our third place young cow today. Third place young cow falls in quite nicely. A heifer that's got that nice open drape to her rib. A young cow that's got a lot of width, height, and angularity to this heifer as well. Over our fourth place heifer, I think she's just a little more openness of her rib, a little more angular through her rib cage than the fourth place one today.
The complete results of Class 9, the milking senior yearling class. And again, thank you to Willow Creek Genetics for their sponsorship, Richard and Teresa Osborne. The first in class certificate is donated by Select Sire Generation, and the best bred and owned is donated by EastGen. Ring number 53 was 8th. Ring number 54 placed 5th. Ring number 55 was 7th. Ring number 56 was 2nd. That's Brydon PNV Embrace, owned by Ernest Kupner and Terry Packard. Ring number 57 placed 9th. Ring number 58 was 6th. Ring number 59 was our class winner, also first in class certificate and best bred and owned certificate for Golden Joyride Louisa, owned by Glenn and Sheila Burgess. Ring number 60 was 10th. Ring number 61 was 3rd, the entry of Willow Creek and Jeff West with Willow Creek Tequila Ruby. And ring number 62 placed 4th, the entry of Charlene Jerseys, Charlene Excitation Suki. Next into the ring we have the junior 2-year-olds.
Well, I'll tell you, Russell, before you get into the next class, we have an international show. And hats off and shout out to our friends down in Boonesboro, Maryland. So we really... So
okay.
This is, they say it's Brydon. They got the wrong sister in the catalog. This is Brydon in the second place position.
Enhance? No? Yeah, Enhance. Okay. Okay, we will, we will, yeah.
Correction here, the second placed animal, ring number 56, was Brydon PNV Enhance, owned by Brydon Jerseys Incorporated.
Yep. So we do have a correction there, and Tim has just made it for the crowd as well. The second prize animal is actually Brydon PNV Enhance, who is a full sister of Embrace, who sold in the Gone Global sale for the third high price. In any event, we've got some animals in the ring in the junior 2-year-old class, and we're going to tell you about them. The first one, which Richard Osborne is leading, is number 63. She's Willow Creek Tequila Sassy, or Sassy. She's a tequila out of an Americana Snazzy Sash, so remembering Fred Petzold on this one. Number 64 is a Dutch Hollow Oliver P. daughter. She's mixing moves Oliver Allison, so at Oliver P. out of a Topeka. Lots of select sires breeding on this beautiful young dairy cow here. 65 is the next animal in the ring with Jeff Sales on the halter. She is a black apple, and her name is Brydon B.A. Cass. She is a July heifer, so these are the younger animals in the class. Then we've got 66 would be from Charlene, a Chrome daughter, Cece Chrome, the River Valley Bull, out of Charlene Tequila Evening. Sandy Kingdon, one of our organizers on the halter. And in a second, we're going to have Carrie Alexander and her cow, Maker Black Apple Green Bean. Here she comes. Stretchy heifer, shown last year in her past as a 4-H calf, which Carrie does a lot of supporting 4-H members. Lauren Well on Green Bean and a Black Apple out of a Vivitar. A lot of the way that Carrie has been breeding the Maker herd. Then we've got another Burgess entry. This is a Victorious daughter, River Valley Victorious. So nice day for River Valley here as well. She's out of a Regan and out of that famous D family up at Golden Jerseys as well. Golden Victorious. Milky looking young cow. And then we've got Greg McLean leading out a Valentino daughter. She is 69 in the catalog. Her name is Parkview Vaughn Something Honest, from the bred by the Staring family in New York. Colin Allardyce is the owner here, and she's a Valentino daughter out of a Minister Dam from the famous Parkview herd. 70, which we should be seeing in the ring here, is Starcrest, a Lil Nookie. She is a Valentino Axis daughter out of this cow we're going to see later in the 5-year-old class, the 93-point Hot Money Nikki, who is an On the Money daughter. And there she is right there on the screen. Glad that the Killings and everybody else is showing that. And then here's Jenny Butcher. I don't know if this is a second calving junior 2-year-old or not. That Jen animal. A Colton out of a Nikon dam who is polled. So this heifer never saw the dehorner or the dehorning iron or paste or anything, and she is one milky looking cow too. To complete this class of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if my math is correct, 9 junior 2-year-olds, following on 10 milking senior yearlings.
Nice class, that many junior 2-year-olds, and yes, and they're ready. They're ready, and some really good animals in here. Again, various stages of lactation, Russell, to a degree. But these heifers were geared up, and I think Cab, more importantly, ready to show at the Royal and fall shows, and it certainly looks that way.
Yeah, and there'd be 5 months in age between these heifers, because we've got a couple of Augusts in here and some Marches as well. So the March heifers could have calved January, February, theoretically.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, exactly, and a couple of these are just a month off from being in the previous class. So it just shows you the range, and that's taken in consideration. But most importantly, our judges are looking for correctness and straightness of lines and correctness of parts, so they can develop into older cows as time goes on, Russell.
Exactly. So just great fun to watch the differences in stage of development of animals, and when you can have 5 or 6 months, a full 5 months in difference in age makes a difference at this point in time. But yeah, what an exciting continuation of the afternoon.
once again, we want to thank all the sponsors for today's show. These things don't just happen. We've mentioned several. I know Dr. Henshaw has mentioned several, and Russell, you have as well. Sponsors for these classes, and we want to continue to thank Select Sires and East Gen for sponsoring class winners, giving awards for every first place participant, as well as the best bred known from East Gen. And again, just starting to commend again the work of Johnny and Sandy Kingdon and the people they've called on, but for seeing what happened in Lindsay with Barclay Phoenix and several others in that area of making those shows come to fruition. Johnny took it upon himself saying we need a show here in this side of the world in Western Ontario, and we're very happy to see it happen today. Once again, hats off and many, many thanks to John and Sandy.
Once again, Jeff is weighing the strengths and challenges of each animal that's in the ring, giving them a real good looking over. Slowly, calmly, coolly. Jeff is certainly one cool customer, isn't he? He doesn't look like he's tensed up or worried. He may be thinking a lot inside, but he projects a very confident demeanor.
Yeah, he's either thinking a lot harder, he's moving slower after that big hot dog he had at lunch. I don't know which, but either way, he certainly is moving very consistently, and he is know for sure, in all seriousness, he's given them all the look that he can to make sure he does, to the best of his ability, give them the best look and make the best placing. Also, a shout out to one of our other key sponsors. It is for Farm Credit Corporation. Dream, grow, and thrive, and they certainly have helped a lot of producers and dairy farmers, as well as all agricultural farmers in our country, to do just that. A shout out to them for their sponsorship today for today's show.
Speaking of sponsorship, let's give a shout out to Wes Killing of Oasis Jerseys, who is the actual sponsor of this class as well. Killing's up in Oxford County, I think your county, Jamie?
Absolutely.
We see the two gents are meeting in the center of the ring to do a little bit of
That's right.
back and forth on what they're seeing here, and
just a little more difficult pieces of the puzzle here now, Russell, versus some of the others.
And of course, it's a great thing with masks now. The judges, we can't even lip read anyway. If we had ability to lip read, Jamie, we could figure out what they were talking about. They can talk quite freely now.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're a good piece away from anybody else in the ring, so they can just do their chatting.
Don't have to cover up the mouth, and they don't have to look like a pair of NFL coaches on the sidelines with a clipboard over their faces. They can just go right at it and just don't talk real loud. Correct, Russell?
Exactly. And it's interesting to see the respect from these two. We've seen times, Jamie, where we probably had associate judges and it looked like there was arguing going on some of the time. And here it looks like mutual respect anyway, and John's going to go out and have another look at an animal or two.
Yeah, and stepping back and letting Jeff make the call. It's his show to judge, and John's respectful of Jeff to give him the stage. Ultimately the buck stops and starts with him, and that's what an associate's supposed to do. And it's good to see them working in harmony with each other today.
Oh, and we've had a call, and I think that is Starcrest, a Lil Nookie, the Valentino Axis daughter out of that 93-point cow we're going to see later, for the Killings and Frank Robinson and Cassie, his daughter, and
right.
And kind of nice when you're sponsored a class and maybe you end up being the class winner as well. Not that anybody planned that.
I think there's some passion on that class, wasn't there, Russell? Well, you look at this young cow that Josh is leading out, and she certainly is a beautiful young heifer, and so complete and balanced and powerful with all of her depth of rib and strength over her top, with a really nice rear udder.
He's done a nice job showing her, too, because she doesn't look like she's the easiest cow in the world to show. He's using his muscles there to keep her under control.
Absolutely.
And then that nice victorious River Valley victorious daughter from Burgess is in second.
She's a nice young cow.
A pair of young cows that are motoring, and then the great Jeff in third with his Black Apple daughter. Great. We want to congratulate the bovine on some of these angles they're getting. I mean, you can get a really good look at what these cows are on your screen. It's not exactly the same as being here, but it's awfully close.
Well, it is. But I couldn't agree more, Russell. We've seen the work that Andrew is doing, just not setting up the cameras, but continuously going around and ensuring that we're getting angles that, as you do this live stream, it's this is very important, not just to set a camera and let it roll, but giving us different viewpoints of the animals as through the show is going on. But a beautiful shot of those first three, as you see on screen presently.
Some kind of technical work going on here as well. Yeah, and it is a constant motion thing. It's not somebody sitting in a chair, Jay, and just having a control center and staying there. But Andrew's been on the move all day long, getting things checked constantly.
No, that's right. It's just not to set up a station and roll. It's to try to understand and appreciate the viewers' satisfaction and sometimes frustration, but he is giving us great views and giving you great views. And now that where there's no exhibitors really from a spectator's point of view, just can't come and go to a show like we once did. And not to mention globally, you get to see a great show here with great camera angles from Andrew. Thanks again to the bovine.
Anywhere in the world that's got a good connection can be watching this today, just like somebody 20 miles away is watching it. You know, the wonders of technology. Streaming has come so far. You remember how there used to be streaming, but it would be going on and off all the time?
Yes.
And maybe that was the connection on our end sometimes, but a lot of times it seemed that it was the source, you know?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And actually the picture quality that we see on everything from phones to TV screens to monitors of computers, and with the technology on the side of Andrew's side of the bovine and and other streaming services, it's certainly made a difference in what we can see versus not being there.
So we're getting a lot of Valentino influence in these top three animals, with the winner being by a Valentino son, a Sugar Grove Valentino Axis, or the current winner, and then the second one being a Victorious, who is, if I'm not mistaken, a son of Barnabas, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, who is a grandson of Valentino, and then the third one being an own daughter of Valentino as well, the Parkview heifer, owned by Colin Allardyce, who is probably pretty pleased with the way she's calved out. I think he bought her in one of Dusty Sherm's sales.
He did, I think,
a year ago.
Well, spring.
As a calf,
as a calf, because she had come off, if I'm not mistaken, she was the All-American Junior calf.
Exactly.
And he bought her at the sale that following spring. So congratulations for her coming in, calving in, and doing quite well for Colin stepping out. And you like to see people that step out and write a check and take some risk, and it really pays off in the end. It's good to see that. Congratulations to him.
So Tim is out collecting placings now, as it looks like Jeff is probably pretty close to his final analysis. 6, 7, 8, 9.
In this class number 10, female junior 2-year-old, sponsored by Oasis Jerseys, West Killing. In first place, ring number 70, the entry of Starcrest and Oasis Jerseys with Starcrest, a Lil Nookie. In second place, ring number 68, the entry of Glenn and Sheila Burgess with Golden Vicdora. And in third place, ring number 69, the entry of Colin Allardyce with Parkview Vauvan Something Honest. In fourth place, ring number 65, Brydon B.A. Cass, the entry of Brydon Farms Incorporated. And now with his reasons on this class, our judge for today, Judge Stevens.
Another good sized class here, junior twos here. I think we Let me get these heifers sorted out. I think our first place heifer for me has got the balance from end to end. A young cow, when she gets out and gets moving, has nice blending to all her parts. And you get in on this heifer, forward attachment's well attached. I just love the blendiness of all her parts all together, and I prefer head and neck carriage over a heifer that's followed in second. Second place, young cow that falls in quite nicely with the height and width of rear udder and a little more venation and a little more cleanliness all the way through. Then our heifer that's going to follow in third. Third and fourth, I switched them there. I think our third place heifer for me, I just prefer the way she tracks out in her rear legs, the way she moves in her rear legs, especially down through her hock and through her pasterns over the fourth place young cow today.
The complete results of the junior 2-year-old class. And again, thank you to Oasis Jerseys for their sponsorship of this class. From the top, number 63 was 9th. Number 64 placed 7th. 65 was 4th, the entry of Brydon Farms, Brydon B.A. Cass. 66 was 6th. 67 placed 8th. 68 was 2nd. That was Golden Victoria, the entry of Glenn and Sheila Burgess. 69 was 3rd, the entry of Colin Allardyce with Parkview Vauvan Something Honest. Ring number 70 was our class winner, also winner of the Best Bred and Owned and First in Class certificate. And this is Starcrest, a Lil Nookie, owned by Starcrest and Oasis Jerseys. And number 71 was 5th. Next into the ring, the senior 2-year-olds. Thanks to New Life Mills for sponsorship of this senior 2-year-old class.
Well, Jamie, just an interesting experience. Yeah, we're on. Okay. Just an interesting experience showing how people are watching. I just had a message from someone saying, who's that cow that's about 7th in that class? Gave me a number. And somebody looking forward to the future, saying there's a cow with a lot of potential. So it shows what you can see on this screen with the quality of video that we're getting here, and people, marketing opportunities for people simply by having the cow here. She didn't have to be first in the class.
That's exactly right, Russell. And we've talked enough about the changes of this year, but it shows that people are really looking to the future, and some of the sales that we've seen this past year, and the sale that Andrew and Jennifer Vanderbilt put on was an extraordinary example of that, with the kind of purchases and that were made and for the amount of money that was paid for some of those animals. Knowing full and well there wasn't going to be a World Dairy Expo, knowing full and well there wasn't going to be a Royal, and yet had shows, but not of the caliber, not of the stage that those are, but certainly we're willing to dive in and look at the future. It shows the passion our breeders, exhibitors, and that have in this business.
So in the senior 2-year-old class, we've got the first one is Brydon Colton Trample. Jeff Sales at his naming best again, who's a Colton out of a Cairo stam, whose name is Trinity. So she's number 72. Number 73 would be Willow Creek Joel Benji. And we need to get a little bit of changing in order here. Yep. There's Teresa bringing in Joel Benji. So this is obviously a Guimo Joel daughter out of a Regency dam. And again, Teresa and Richard from Willow Creek showing her. Long history on Teresa's part of being a 3rd or 4th generation Jersey breeder as well. Her dad David is here. Then we've got Glenn Burgess, a master breeder, as we mentioned, with a premier daughter out of a Gammon dam, so Rapid Bay Gammon. We'll have a story about him at some point. And then we've got Bruce Sales with Brydon J Vision. Now this is Guimo Journey, another member of that family from Fairmar Paramount Joy, bull that went to CMEX, and so this is a Journey daughter, number 75, that Bruce is exhibiting here. He would be a grandson of Joy as well, whereas Joel is an own son of Joy. Then we have the coming here now with Matt Lang for Quality Holsteins, Beckridge, and Egrabur. is Frankenstyle Caro Bear Joel Alley, another Joel out of a fire-powered dam. This heifer was, I think she was first in class and reserve intermediate champion.
That's correct.
At Lindsay.
That's correct.
And it changed from her owners from Quebec into this ownership, this international ownership between Quality and Beckridge and Agribur as well. And lovely, lovely young cow. Then we've got Richard Osborne. We've got another Willow Creek entry here with Tequila Beth bearing the Willow Creek prefix. Tequila out of an Irwin dam, bred there right at Willow Creek. So we're seeing Richard and Teresa, a lot of homebred animals here today out of that Holstein N Jersey herd that they have down at Hagersville. Milk a lot of cows, too.
Oh, they do.
And work like crazy. There's not a big team there, and they are constantly on the go with their children as well. Then we've got Lauren Barker, has got her entry here coming onto your screen right now with 78, who is RJF Engineer Cracker. So for the Sargent family, here's the son of Enniskillen Engineer, and her dam was RJF bred. That's the Gerald family at Corbyville, Ontario. Academy Crumbs, probably going back to obviously the K family at Avonlea as well. That we've got going on here in Lauren's beautiful young cow here. And taking the last to enter the ring would be Mullen Lad Cotton, bred by, why am I having a blank right now? Mark McFedrin and family with all those boys that Mark and his wife have there. She's a Carbala Lad son, a daughter out of a Comerica dam, and Alex and Angela Dolson, young couple getting into the industry, are exhibiting 79, who is the lad daughter out of a Comerica dam. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 senior 2-year-olds out here. Really nice classic cows once again.
There's 8.
8,
Sorry.
yep.
Yep.
So once again, Jeff is more than earning his paycheck here today anyway, as he examines these cows.
In the senior 2-year-old class, more than likely, most of these are calved in for the second time. So these animals are calved in twice, and you can see the development, the capacity of these mammary systems, yet the same similarities of straightness and correctness that we were looking for earlier, that Jeff and John were. And certainly just a beautiful, and so the winter yearlings, milking winter yearlings as well as the milking senior yearlings are in this class. I believe the youngest one in the ring is born in January from Brydon. There's a milking winter yearling back last fall at the Royal Winter Fair. So just a great group of young animals. Again, different stages, but certainly on the front end of their lactations to be as clean and dairy as they are here today.
We've just been informed that Jeff is volunteering his time, so he's easily earning his pay for that. But isn't that a great gesture that Jeff would do that to see this show take place? The judge volunteering his time. I mean, his mileage wasn't too extreme to begin with, but it's the work he's doing here that's the important thing.
Well, and everybody knows Jeff. People may think, let's get him tested for his temperature to see if he's doing this for free. But no, we're just joking about Jeff. But the only thing is the fact that Jeff is one thing. He's very passionate about this business. He's done any and everything he can to try to propel the youth in our province for more showing, for more inclusion, for more participations from commercial breeders as well to be involved in this business, knowing that there's a benefit from it, not just from a social aspect of things, but also from a financial aspect of the business. So, no, it's very nice of Jeff to do that, and we appreciate it, and his passion over exceeds his demand for making a good business deal, doesn't it, but Russell?
It's a really, really great gesture because there is a lot of work, and you're putting your reputation on the line every time you judge a show. And he is keeping his reputation in wonderful form today. It's only going to grow after being at this show today. And both Jeff and it's interesting, with the Yellowbriar herd being sold a few years ago, both Jeff and John, representative of people who have continued to be involved in dairy, but also moving into the beef side of things as well, and being as successful there as they were with their dairy enterprises as well.
No, couldn't agree more, Russell. And Jeff and his parents and family, known him for quite some time, are hard-working people and very passionate about their business of this of the dairy business and moving into the beef business as well. It just shows that they're never idle and that they're really passionate about what they do. Really good class. You can look at them right now on screen in different shapes and angles that we're seeing. I'd say very shortly we'll start seeing some conference between Jeff and John, as well as a pool.
I liked an expression I learned a couple of years ago down in your home state of Kentucky with Mr. Brian Forsey, a Southdown breeder, and he talked about parts and pieces, Jamie, and all the different parts and pieces. And when they had rams that were going to put big wide butts on some of the lambs. They had rams that were going to make them longer. Some of the rams were there to make them deeper. Some of them were there to put better feet and legs on their sheep as well. Owensboro, Kentucky is where the Forseys are, and they've been incredibly successful. But yeah, that parts and pieces was what Brian kept saying as he showed me the sheep that day. And you know, you got to have those different parts and pieces, and that's a sign of a true breeder, I think, as well. You know, what do we need to improve? We're not perfect. What do we need to work on? What do this group of ewes or cows need? And then and you'd run into that, Jamie, in your work, of course, as well.
Absolutely. It's what makes it interesting. It makes it fun, and to be very truthful, sometimes frustrating, Russell. That wasn't supposed to work that way, but at the same point, if it was easy, as they always say, everybody be doing it. I think the biggest thing with our Jersey breeders, as well as Holstein breeders, or any breeder of dairy cattle or beef or any species, is be consistent, be persistent in what you're doing. If you really believe in something, don't waver from it. There's a lot of people coming at you from every angle in this business of how to breed your cows. What's the most profitable cow? Make them tall, make them short, make them this way or that way. And the nice thing about the industry is there lots of people made their money different ways, but they like different types of cows. And at the end of the day, there's some staples of correctness that we need to stay within. But I've always been a believer in, if you want to be successful, look at successful people. If you want to be a successful breeder, look at successful breeders, developers of cattle, and try to emulate. As the first pool's being made, Russell?
We've got that Joel cow has been pulled first. They're from Quality, Beckridge, and Agrabur. And I think we've got, well, maybe Tequila. No, Bruce is right on. It's Jeff that's following in second there. And just everybody's being very polite here, I would say, as well, and being very careful about getting those that lineup correct based on what Judge Stevens had wanted for them, and he'll sort them out if they didn't get it quite correct as well.
Oh, absolutely. And we have some competitive individuals out here. They might get bumping and while they're racing before it's all over, before the finish line's done, but no, they're very polite, and let Jeff get his best angle and let him sort them out as he sees.
Now, there's something you'll run into, and it may be well with Holsteins as well, but really interesting, that second cow with a dark cow with black parts on black skin on part of her udder, and trying to look at that and get your eyes really around for a judge. What is the real bid?
Exactly.
How wide is this?
That's right.
Tim Henshaw is trying to steer the pot here, and we are becoming deaf very quickly when we need to be.
Thank you.
Let me put it this way. We are being extremely careful about what goes out to you all over the world here today. Welcome the world, as we often say, as Neil Smith says down in Louisville. Everybody all across the world on the internet. With that Mississippi drawl of his.
We've got a really nice rear view of these animals where you can see the rear udders, the rump width, and the extreme, and the way the legs set. I think it's very important, as we've talked about earlier before, Russell, that oftentimes people are saying, is this becoming too much of a rear udder contest? In certain cases with certain judges, it might. But Jeff is looking at the front ends of these animals, as you can see right now, and there's a reason for that the rear end's only going to be as good sometimes as the front end. So, judging the complete cow, where we know the mammary system carries the majority of the weight of the scorecard, there's a lot of other points left out there in regard to what carries them around on their feet and legs, their rib structure, their dairiness, length of frame, and power, or lack of power in certain cases, starts to distinguish what is first, second, third, and so on.
And then things like that are sometimes lower on the scorecard, but rumps and rump width and thorough placement, which some people will tell you are incredibly important in terms of the structure of the rump. And so Jeff, as you can see, he's asked these exhibitors to take another stroll around the ring, another parade, just to make sure it's fitting with what he saw the first time. We're gonna scratch down a few placings as well, and assuming that he's pretty darn close. So as we noted, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 senior 2-year-olds. Lovely view now. Even the folks at home are seeing this as these the front end on that cow is she's actually looking, and I think she's even maybe better than she was at Lindsay. You know,
very well might
settled
be.
into a new home up in
Yes.
Woodbridge there at Quality. Well, that spring of rib on this cow is really quite something.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And probably we'll give Matt Lang a bit of credit for doing a real nice job parading her around the ring as well. Oh yeah, we'll talk about Gammon now. The maternal grandsire of the cow that's 6th in the class right now. The first and only time I ever saw Rapid Bay Gammon, I was down at Steve Borland's on December 31st, 2009. There's reasons why I remember that date. Saw the bull, and Steve said, "Oh, here's Rapid Bay Gammon," and he wide arse and a big belly. And he didn't say anything else but smile. So, you know, you draw your own conclusions from what Steve meant that day.
Yes, that's for sure. This first pair of 2-year-olds really come to the class up here, and they're a little different in certain ways, but my, oh my, the quality and that you see in the first place cow, and then the quality in second place heifer. That's actually a January heifer, Russell. It's
Youngest.
quite amazing. The youngest one in the class, but the width of her udder and the width of her whole frame entirety, and how she's so square of her rear legs, really a nice cow.
The result of Class 11, the female senior 2-year-old class, and again, thank you to New Life Mills for their sponsorship. In first place, ring number 76, Frank Style Carol Bear Joel Alley, now owned by Quality, Beckridge, and Agribur SRL. In second place, ring number 72, the entry of Brydon Farms Incorporated with Brydon Colton Trample. In third place, ring number 73, the entry of Willow Creek Jerseys with Willow Creek Joel Benji. And in fourth place, ring number 75, the entry of Brydon Farms Incorporated with Brydon J Vision. And now with his reasons on this class, our judge for today, Jeff Stevens.
You're fine.
Really nice class here from end to end. Cows that got all second calf cows out here, cows that have got lots of width and height, the rear udder all the way right down to the bottom. Our first 2 cows here are a little different in their frame styles, and I think I went with the cow for me that's just the most balanced all the way through her frame. A cow that's very balanced through her rib cage and openness of her rib, all the way back through to her fore udder attachment, and a cow with me that exhibits enough height and width her rear udder. Our second place cow, a little different style cow, but you admire this cow for her strength, her width, her definition of crease at the top of her rear udder over our third place cow. Third place cow, she does have that dairy quality I'm looking for. She's a cow that's got lots of openness and quality all the way through. A cow for me just like to change the height or the width of her rear udder and just the way it ties into the top and maybe the crease of the rear udder to move her up further in class. But I think a cow for me that shows that balance from end to end. A cow for me is just a little nicer out on the walk. A cow's just a little longer through her fore udder and a little more venation of her udder, and then a cow that falls out in fourth.
The complete results of this Class 11, the senior 2-year-old class. Number 72 was second. That's the entry of Brydon Farms Incorporated, Brydon Colton Trample. Ring number 73 was third, Willow Creek Jerseys with Willow Creek Joel Benji. 74 was sixth, 75 was fourth for Brydon Farms Incorporated, Brydon J Vision. 76 was our class winner, Frank Style Carol Bear Joel Alley, now owned by Quality Holsteins, Beckridge Holsteins, and Agribur SRL. Number 77 was fifth, number 78 was seventh, and number 79 placed eighth. Next into the ring, we have the junior 3-year-old class.
Yeah, it's different. Once it pulls, yeah, I can pull. While he's pulling, I can grab whatever it needs.
So
If
much.
that works for you.
You know how much that means to me. Junior 3-year-olds are now coming into the ring. Again, we may have to put a double mask on Dr. Henshaw. He's being himself today. Yeah. So we have a Joel daughter here. This is Marlboro Joel Caron, who is a Joel out of an Easton, and she is exhibited today under Marlboro Farms. That would be the Marshall brothers. I guess they've still got a couple of cows in their ownership now. And so she is the cow that you can see Josh Killing leading around the ring there. Nice Joel daughter, good udder, like Joels usually have. Then we have number 81, and this is again from Desrosiers and Sicard, Lormier Tequila Lily, who is again obviously a tequila daughter and perhaps out of a Führer dam because her dam's name has got Pimo in it, and that's often what the Führer daughters were called. Nice young cow as well. These are junior 3-year-olds, so they're undoubtedly have had at least 2 calves. The 2 would be an entry of Maker Farms and Adam Ostrander, and I think that's Adam on the halter there. This is a Verb daughter. He's an action son out of Veronica, certainly a heavily proven bull as well, and a Guapo dam, so we're getting a little bit of gorgeous influence as well there on the dam side. That's 82. 83, we're going to flip over to Michael Bowles, leading Edgley Tequila Posterity, a tequila out of Oregon, shown by both the Bowles and Joel Bagg. The Edgley prefix going on now, started exhibiting. We're amongst the first folks to ever exhibit at the Royal Winter Fair. And, okay, we've got to change, and number 80, we'll do that, Tim. Yeah, thank you I wondered about that as well. 84 is in the ring now. I don't know how many calvings this cow would have had with Jenny loving to get them calved young. This is another River Valley Victorious daughter out of a Dutch Hollow dam, headline Olivi, from Jenny Butcher and Wes Kuntz at Tanbark and Little Brown Cow. Her name is Victorious Oatmeal. I don't know how much oatmeal Jenny sells in the store at Little Brown Cow, but she's here and she's got her name, and she's a lovely dairy cow. Then we've got Pierre Boulet back in the ring with 85, Ducret VJ Livius June. Now this cow's interesting in that she's by a Danish Jersey sire, Livius, and out of a Regan dam that Pierre would have bred. Pierre Steen is the prefix he uses for jerseys. And really quite nice cow. And again, Desrosiers, Sicard, and Pierre Boulet himself that are the owners on that cow. And in a second here, we'll have the mayor of Antigonish, Sandy McGilvery, part owner with Clark Valley on Mount Elm Tequila Baby Butter. Well, isn't that quite a name? Whose dam, of course, is named Butterball, so I guess it's keeping it in the family. Butter theme. Would you like some butter with those mashed potatoes? And this is so she's a tequila daughter, and as I said, Clark Valley and Sandy sharing ownership on her. And then 87 is from Brydon Farms, and she's a premier. Her name is Brydon Premier Vigor, and her dam is Brydon Irresistible Vigor, I'm guessing from this. We do have a change in ownership on the first cow in the ring here. That is, rather than being bred by Marlboro Farms, that is correct, but she is owned by Starcrest and Oasis, the Killing family, that are owning her. So that's a change in ownership from what was in our catalog. And we are so disciplined here, Jamie, that we read exactly what's put in front of us and never question it.
That's right. That's right. If you don't like what we say, it's all about the teleprompter and who put it on there. So,
please let's not get into teleprompters either. That could be a bunny trail.
That's right. On my teleprompter right now, we want to thank Bob Murr Farms for the sponsorship of this class. Penny and Alan Hawthorne and family. We really appreciate, I'm sure, the jersey producers and breeders here and the exhibitors. Appreciate your sponsorship. So shout out to Bob Muir. Thank you very, very much for sponsoring the junior 3-year-old class.
I think Penny would be responsible for some of the jersey influence there, Bob.
Oh, absolutely.
Such famous Holstein breeders.
Absolutely.
And then Penny had a background at Bergveld's and at Holly Lane.
Exactly.
She's from the Belleville area originally, and it has brought a few jerseys into Bob Muir, and they have some good red and whites, and they've got
Absolutely.
good black and white Holsteins and a few nice jerseys, and up at just beyond listable, aren't they?
That's exactly right. Nice farm there, and just do an outstanding job and carrying on with their kids as well.
Yep.
Well, Jamie, sure appreciate your commentary here with Russell today. And again, as they've mentioned, we're grateful to all of the sponsors. And this class is sponsored by Bob Muir Farms. The first-in-class certificate is donated by Select Sire Generations. And there's an award for Best Bred and Owned, which is donated by East Gen. Now in the ring, we have the junior 3-year-old class. Immediately following the junior 3-year-old, we'll be moving through to the intermediate champion. The intermediate champion has been sponsored by Brian and Jennifer Weldrick. Immediately following this junior 3-year-old class, we will have the parade for intermediate champion. So if we could have the first and second place animals in the classes, the first 4 milking classes that have taken place this afternoon, if they would come to the marshalling area now, please. First and second placed in each of the junior milking classes to the marshalling area. Parade for intermediate champion immediately following this class. And thank you to Perennial Jerseys, Brian and Jennifer Weldrick, for their sponsorship of the intermediate championship class.
Jeff and John are making their final look upon these cows for selection and starting to tag out what they want in their first lineup. Then after that, which is a little different than what we are used to in our Holstein breeds and some of the even Jersey shows, but we'll have intermediate champion right after the junior 3, and then senior 3 will go in for senior champion as our show progresses today.
Hi, Jamie.
Russell is back with us now.
I tried to run away, but they caught me. Erica Sales caught me leaving and said, "You get back in there."
She's good. She caught me from leaving twice already, Russell. But no, we're certainly joking, because if you, there's lots of things I'd rather not be doing than to be here at this show. This is just a treat for us all, that started for some shows to go to and to watch and participate in, and I know that there are people that are watching online feel somewhat the same way. But we love cows, we love great cows, and certainly this isn't falling short for satisfying the appetite that we have for these kind of animals today.
And speaking of Erica Sales, now there's somebody that really knows her way around social media. Erica has become a bit of a TikTok legend. I think she had about 300,000 or 400,000 views on one of her videos about life on the farm, and has developed her own line of merch with Jersey Wow and clothing that way, but is very busy on Instagram and TikTok, and telling telling her. Are we allowed? Is TikTok, does it still exist, Jamie?
As far as I know, it is. I don't TikTok.
I
I don't do TikTok, and the only TikTok I have is looking at my clock, and that's about it. But I think it still exists. I think it's still in motion. So
well, it was very important to Erica anyway. She really got launched there. But she's doing a great job talking about agriculture and teaching a lot of people who would know nothing about farming, about calf raising and how to look after cows and automatic feeders. And there we're getting some animals lined up, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Pierre Boulet, 85. Would that be Duke? Oh, that would be by the Danish sire. This Livius June would be the cow, and that's, as we mentioned, Des Rosiers, Sicard, and that'd be easy for somebody from Kentucky to pronounce, wouldn't it, Jamie?
Well, I'll tell you, if I said it, probably everybody in Quebec wouldn't understand what I was saying where's that boy from? So I'm not going to go that route, but it's funny that Pierre likes to lead in these cows named June, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he's got one that's somewhat older than this cow that he really likes leading around.
Oh, boy. She's as old as me and a lot better looking than me, that's for darn sure, which isn't saying a whole lot, but I'll tell you.
7 times 14
Incredible.
is 91.
Incredible cow.
70, 28, 98. Yeah, she'd be about your age.
Yeah.
And if we did the comparison. So look at the rear udder on this this version of June that's there. And then we've got a Premier in second, who's quite a cow too, that Bruce Sales is showing.
Yes, she is.
And then Mike Bowles has got a cow that's the one he owns with Joey Bagg, the Posterity. You have to be careful how you say that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's that is a very nice lineup of junior 3-year-olds.
Well, we certainly have a nice view of it on screen now, and you can see the entire class and see Judge Stevens and Associate Judge John DeVries march off. I think they're starting to look at and admire the way they've got them lined up thus far as Jeff circles around the front to view the front ends of these good young cows to make it ensure that he's seeing them as he thought he saw them earlier. You know, while Jeff is making his final decisions, what you said earlier about social media and our young people looking at ways to convey the stories, the truth, the facts about agriculture, it's going to become forever more important as people that are non-agricultural and don't really have an idea or a clue where their food comes from. We're very fortunate in this country, as well as the one I'm from in the U.S., to have a very safe food supply and multitude of it, and I'm a testament there's more of it than needed by my weight. But my point being is the simple fact that we have to educate people that don't know what we're doing, and with Erica's lead and her venue and others as well, I think it's an ever-growing business and career move for lots of young people to look at how to communicate what agriculture means to each and every person.
Guess what I didn't do?
Jeff is bringing them out the final time and looking like he likes them like he had selected them. And what a great group of young cows as we view them coming around the bend.
Ooh, that was from Ancaster Spring Show a year ago. Yeah, it's on our website, but I gotta send it to you.
And there they are. But yeah, a really nice, consistently good class right across the board, an impressive class. Makes you kind of excited to have any involvement with jerseys at all when you see a group like this. And yeah, that would say this first cow is owning this class. We're just going to look up a little bit of info on Livius as well. Go to someplace like CDN. And getting in the lineup here for the final time around. I would say a Ducray. Yeah. You say Ducray, I say Ducret.
The result of the junior 3-year-old class, Class 12, and again, thank you to Bob Murphy Arms for their sponsorship. In first place, ring number 85, the entry of C. de Rossier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulay with Ducre, V.J. Livius, June. In second place, ring number 87, the entry of Brydon Farms Incorporated with Brydon Premier Vigor. In third place, ring number 83, the entry of Mike Bowles and Joel Bagg with Edge Lee, Tequila Posterity. And in fourth place, ring number 86, the entry of Clark Valley and Sandy McGilvery with Mount Elm Tequila Baby Butter. And now with his reasons on this class, our judge for today, Jeff Stevens.
Really nice uddered cows all the way down in this class here. The first two cows, not the biggest cows in the class, but I think the most balanced cows. I think that's what they got to the top. Our first place cow for me, a cow when you get really close in on this cow, a cow just a little flatter through a bone quality, through a rib cage, a little more openness of a rib cage, and a very well balanced cow that follows it in second. Our first cow for me, just a little more quality to her mammary, showing today a lot of venation and quality all the way through her mammary than our second place cow. Second place cow types in our first one very nicely. A cow that's got the balance. A cow for me is just a little more fullness through her forerib and rear flank than the cow that's going to follow in third. Third place cow was a different style cow today, a cow that's got a lot of extra length of frame, but a cow you admire for her dairy quality, and I think her dairy quality and cleanliness all the way through is going to take her above a cow that's going to follow in fourth.
The complete results of the junior 3-year-old class, ring number 80 was fifth. That's Marlboro Joel Caron, owned by Starcrest Jerseys and Oasis Jerseys. 81 was sixth. 82 placed eighth. 83 was third, Edge Leah Tequila Posterity for Mike Bowles and Joel Bagg. 84 was seventh. 85, our class winner, Ducre V.J. Livius June for C. de Rosier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulay. 86 was fourth. That's Mount Elm Tequila Baby Butter, owned by Clark Valley and Sandy McGilvery. And 87 placed second, the entry of Brydon Farms Incorporated, Brydon Premier Vigor. Next into the ring, the parade for intermediate champion.
And just an interesting little point there. This Livius bull, the Danish bull that sired the class winner in the last class, is a grandson of Holly Lane Lilibet's Legacy. So Bryce Seaborn, marketing manager at Holly Lane, if you're watching, you have got an exciting moment there. But indeed, Livius is a grandson of Holly Lane Lilibet's Legacy, and the Danish folks have integrated both Canadian, American, New Zealand genetics in their population on a selective basis, and that's a little bit of how Livius came to be. With Legacy being the first Immunity Plus sire in the Jersey breed that CMEX had when Immunity Plus came to be, 7-8 years ago now, Jamie?
That's a fact, Russell. And again, folks online, that's why they're excited to listen to this broadcast, is because the encyclopedia or the person that has the knowledge of knowing where to find out all the connections for these great reasons why certain cows look like they look. There is a reason, and it goes back to great cow families and great breeding, and we're fortunate it came right back home here in Ontario. Thank you, Russell. And we're waiting now for the intermediate champion, which is going to be an extraordinary class with the milking winter yearlings, and first and second from milking winter yearlings all the way through junior 3-year-olds will be entering the ring here momentarily.
Who is FCC? Well, our About Us is really about you, the goals you want to reach, and the dreams you have. You're invested in your business, and as the only lender 100% invested in Canadian agriculture and food, so are we. Because a dream is just the start. It also needs a lender who understands where your dreams come from, where they can go, and what it takes to get there. If you want to start, grow, or transform your agriculture or food business, we can help. Because we're not just your lender. We're your champion, your catalyst, and we're behind you every step of the way. We are FCC. Dream. Grow. Thrive.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is your parade for intermediate champion. Now entering the ring, we have the winning first and second intermediate milking yearlings. Starting with number 52, Lormier Tequila Hana, owned by C. de Rosier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulet. And also from the intermediate milking yearling class, ring number 51, Lormier Tequila Hanny, also owned by C. de Rosier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulet. These are your intermediate milking yearlings. Next into the ring, we have the milking senior yearlings. We have ring number 59, the entry of Glenn and Sheila Burgess with Golden Joyride Louisa, and ring number 56, Brydon PNV Enhance, the entry of Brydon jerseys. Those are your milking senior yearlings, ladies and gentlemen. Next into the ring, we have the junior 2-year-olds. Ring number 70 is the entry of Starcrest jerseys and Oasis jerseys. Her name is Starcrest A. Lil Nookie. She's followed by number 68, the entry of Glenn and Sheila Burgess with Golden Vic Dora. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the junior 2-year-olds. Now just coming into the ring, we have the senior 2-year-olds. The class winner, ring number 76, the entry of Quality Holsteins, Beckridge Holsteins, and Agrabare SRL, Frank Style, Carabare, Joel Alley, ring number 76. Followed by the second prize senior 2-year-old, owned by Brydon Farms Incorporated, number 72, Brydon Colton Trample. And completing this parade for intermediate champion, we have the first and second placed animals from the previous class. Ring number 85, Ducray VJ Livius June, owned by C. Dorossier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulet, our winning junior 3-year-old. And she is followed by number 87, the second prize junior 3-year-old, Brydon Premier Vigor, owned by Brydon Farms Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your parade for intermediate champion.
And what a parade it is. Thanks to Tim for identifying who is in this class, all the firsts and seconds. And Dr. Henshaw, sorry, I'm being so familiar and unprofessional. So this is going to be quite an exciting class. You're going to see a lot of differences in these animals, from the younger animals in the early classes to more development, obviously, on the older cows. But what a fascinating group of cows for the two judges to work on, and they are talking quite interestingly now. And Jeff is going to go one direction, and John's going to go the other, and give everybody a really good look in.
And a really nice parade here for intermediate champion, Russell. And again, Russell, just want to shout out to you and Jamie for your careful banter and color commentary on the classes today. It's a privilege to work with you as part of the triple threat or trifecta of perfection of the Three Wise Men team, all brought to you by the Bovine Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC. Now in the ring, we have the parade for intermediate champion.
And I'm sure it's been noted that Brian and Jennifer Weldrick from near Bright, Ontario, are the sponsors of this class. Really keen young family. Perennial Jerseys is the prefix they use for their jerseys, and just lovely people and very committed to the dairy industry. Have good Holsteins, have good jerseys, and are just great people in addition as well. So we thank them for sponsoring this kind of highlight award in the show as well. Yeah, we'll stop talking about Jamie now. He's returned. And people knew you were away, Jamie. There was all these comments coming in as you were gone, like your back was turned, and away they started.
I know a lot of these people, and it doesn't surprise me.
I was meaning people in the internet, actually, Jamie, who were
I'm afraid I know some of them too.
So then we'll have, after this, we're going to move into the senior 3-year-olds, and we're still getting good numbers there. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 senior 3-year-olds as well. So that's going to be quite cool to get going there. So the quality will continue on. You'll be seeing right now, you're looking at that Livia's daughter on the screen with Pierre Boulet on the halter. Remember, Jamie, the time at, was it last year or the year before, when the young woman was having quite a job showing her Jersey cow, and Pierre was standing not too far from where I was, and he said, "Do you think I'd be allowed to go into that ring? Somebody needs to help her." And he just marched out into that ring and helped that young woman. She still ended up showing the cow, but Pierre was there with her the whole time around. And it was really, really impressive that he would do something like that. That's what a real leader does, is take some risks and help other people out. And so many people were impressed by Pierre's actions at that point in time. World Dairy Expo. Sorry, did I say the Royal? Oh, at a show. It was actually the World Dairy Expo in 2019. And it was amazing, the response to pictures of Pierre helping that young woman out. So kudos to Pierre for being a good human being, a successful guy, and a great person as well.
Well, as you see this lineup of for intermediate champion, this snapshot of a picture could be pretty much exchanged with a lot of major shows in the last few years of young cows in those first and second placings. It's just an amazing group of cows. Udders are just full, not overbagged, but uniform, square, and just an extraordinary group of young cows that. What is really exciting about this group of young cows is what kind of older cows they're going to make. And hats off to the breeders and exhibitors. Here at Ancaster is Jeff Stevens starts to tag out his final contenders for intermediate champion.
And once again, it's going to be fascinating to see in this tight a competition exactly who gets to be in the center of the ring. And certainly there's not going to be any embarrassment being in that group that doesn't make it to the center of the ring anyway. So we got 1, 3, 4, 5 cows, I guess it is, that are, yes, 5 that have been tagged, I believe, to come out for final consideration for intermediate champion. We got that milking yearling, which came from Golden Jerseys and the Burgesses, and we've got that junior 2-year-old from the Killings, and probably a little influence from Frank Robinson as well as Cassie's dad. And then we've got the senior 2-year-old and a pair of junior 3-year-olds as well, if I am, and I think I'm fairly correct on that. That second prize animal from Brydon was the second prize junior 3-year-old. So we got a milking yearling, a junior 2-year-old, a senior 2-year-old, and 2 junior 3-year-olds.
And a reminder to exhibitors that Patty Jones of Canadian Livestock Photography is set up in the poultry business, in the poultry building, for portrait presentations, and she's available all day, and she has a full crew on hand. So why not get a picture taken today? Intermediate champion, Ancaster Fall Classic.
Interesting group of young cows from the show we had in Lindsay. You see out here right now. The one that's pulled of the Burgess family, what was intermediate champion, reserve grand at that show. And the reserves intermediate champion is in the ring as well from Quality Holsteins, Agrobur, and Beckeridge, along with 3 others. And here is Judge Jeff
Here's
Stevens.
we got
with
something
his
coming.
Good selection of the immediate champion today here in the Jersey Show. I think when you view all these cows, these are the cows for me that stand out in their classes. I think cows, as I said in my heifer classes, I like clean dairy, open rib kind of young cow or young heifers to turn into cows like this. I think mammary systems that are well attached, lots of venation, lots of quality to their mammaries, and cows that got great feet and legs. I think these are, for me, the cows that, as I said, stand out. I think we should give all the breeders and exhibitors a great round of applause for bringing up a great set of young cows this afternoon. For me, it comes down to functionality and I dream a little bit about how they can mature and to make great cows. So my immediate champion is going to be my Malkin yearling down here. I think a young cow for me that exemplifies what I'm looking for. Big future in this young cow. A cow, you look at this, she's very balanced. A cow that, what I'm looking for in a young cow and for my immediate champion. Reserve, a little tighter for me, an honorable mention, but I think I'm going to keep these 2 cows down here at the end. Are going to be reserve. Congratulations. An honorable mention. Congratulations. I think these 2 cows in class, I think are cows that they're not the biggest cows, but I think they're very functional cows. They got width of chest, and both of these cows have that terrific mammary system. Be reserve and honorable mention for the show today. Congratulations.
And congratulations, the intermediate champion is ring number 59, the entry of Glenn and Sheila Burgess, the winning milking senior yearling, Golden Joyride Louisa. For reserve intermediate champion, our judge has selected the first prize junior 3-year-old, Ducray VJ Livius June, owned by C. DeRosier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulay, the winning junior 3-year-old. And for honorable mention, the judge has gone to the second place junior 3-year-old, ring number 87, Brydon Premier Vigor, owned by Brydon Farms Incorporated. Next into the ring, we have the senior 3-year-olds.
Well, Russell, what a class that was. And certainly when Jeff looks at them, he looks at them from all angles. And it just goes to show remember the comment we made about making it a rear udder contest? That's not the case. And definitely in this class, you saw that as he talked about functionality, longevity, those things that make older cows. And he went with his Joyride milking yearling that claimed that same rosette in Lindsay and will go on to the Grand Championship later on. But he came back with a pair of young cows that, yes, they weren't the biggest cows in the class, but they certainly were the most balanced and showed that overall width from end to end and balance from end to end.
Right, and I've had this debate many times about exactly how big or stature-wise a cow has to be, and one of my comments has always been, tell me the economic value of stature beyond being tall enough to fit into a system, and I usually get crickets when I ask that question, Jamie. Look at this character here. We've got Ben Hennessy, the legend is here today as well. It's amazing who has shown up. But in any event, yeah, I think you're right. It's the balance of the cows, the correctness of the cows, and this has been great. Once again, River Valley will be rejoicing with a Joyride. He had a bunch of heifers that did well in the show out in Alberta at the Westerner Classic showcase show. And then we've got this very beautifully uddered daughter of the Livius Bull from Denmark, and then a Premier who is by the Danish Bull Impulse. Premier is so kind of an interesting combo of genetics, but Old Joy showing through there, and one of her sons siring this heifer. And you're quite right, Jamie, who was a really nice intermediate champion at Lindsay.
Well, it's rather amazing is taking pictures of the rear udders of these 3 cows with a pair of judges today. We get in turn to see the front ends of these cows, and the 3 front ends of these cows with the width of chest, the squareness of these front feet and legs, combining that with the squareness of the rear legs is just an extraordinary sight. The width of muzzle, open nostril, it starts here and it comes all the way back, and making some really nice cows for intermediate champion. Congratulations to these breeders and exhibitors and fitters. Listen, You know what? It takes a team to get these cows looking like they are, and it's just an extraordinary group of cows to make these. But boy, I tell you, I believe we could even get these cows ready a little bit. They wouldn't look bad. They won't look as good with what has been done. We've gotten them ready with the expert fitters in the barn, but my, oh my, you look at these cows any day of the week in a barn, and these are the kind we all strive to have.
And what a thrill for Glenn Burgess to have this heifer that was such a good calf. And he had some help from his friends at Lookout last year with Callum and Kathy, where I think Callum was really taken by this heifer. He maybe judged the summer show, I think. And in any event, had that involvement of those folks and a calf that has turned out to be such a great cow. Anyway, we got the senior 3-year-olds. We're into the senior female classes, and starting off with Sandy Kingdon and number 88, Charlene Velocity Nexus. She is a Jade Velocity daughter, and again the Kingdon family from up in Forest, Ontario, following on the work of Ken and Karen, who established that farm, and I think were cream shippers beforehand and moved into shipping fluid milk. And Karen, a past president of Jersey, Ontario. Number 90 is a member of the famous Legion family, and she is a maternal sister to those beautiful virals that we were talking about. Both the one that is Bride on Tequila Evening. Look at her there. Quite a picture. Looks a bit like Evening as well, the Jasper Renaissance Evening that Brian Sales, of course, bought for $2,700 at a sale. Brian, nobody could match Brian for buying cows and getting real good value out of them. Here we have Rexley Joel Carousel. Pierre will be probably showing her in a second, bred by the Sheardown family at Schaumburg, Ontario. A Guimo Joel out of Scottier, Kyra Blackstone, again out of a Rexley family, and Marcel and Scott and Celine Bernard breeding the dam of this heifer. 92 is shown by Sheldon Shane, and she is a Rosalie cow bred by the Nixons, a Colton out of a probably Shyster dam, I think, or one of their bulls. Then we've got Richard Osborne, this time with an animal not bred by Richard and Teresa, so obviously something special. She's an RJF Premier Crunch cow. Really nice looking cow, giving us a great side look there. A Premier daughter out of a Gator dam, and Gator being a son of Jude Griffin, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then the grand finale for the class, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this class, is another Genesis animal, this time owned by Desrosiers, Sicard, and Boulet. And she's a Bride on Excitation out of an on-time, a Lencrest on-time as well. So 6, really, from what we're seeing on the, this is going to be one hot, from what we're seeing on the, on the screen here. If they look as good in person as they do looking on the screen, this is going to be one hell of a class, one heck of a class. Excuse my French.
Russell's getting really excited here, as you can tell, and I'll tell you.
The language.
Watching these cows in person, it is an extraordinary group of cows. The height and width of the rear udder on some of these cows, like they show milk. They're wet. That's what it's all about, and making milk out of frames that will be long-lasting cows is exactly what we're striving to attain in any breed. But this Jersey breed is showing it today in spades of how good they are and where they've come.
Well, Jamie, there's an old expression that you stand up when royalty comes into a room, and I have just stood up because to see and to get a better look at these cows in the flesh as well, and they are quite something.
Well, today it's no doubt it's like you go to a great ball game, and of course, yes, I'm going to shout out to my Kentucky Wildcat friends down there. We're in Reparino. We stand up. The only time we sit down is when there's a timeout. And then we stand up. It's like, okay, it's ready to go to work. And this show, I stood up more than I've sat just for the reasons you stated. And oh, my. You look at these cows coming around the ring, the rear udder here on this 85 cow entry. Just extraordinary. What a clean, dairy, wet tracking machine she is. From Genesis bred that was attained a few years ago. Just a great group of cows as we're witnessing here today.
And
That is
again, we would
actually
like
the
to thank
Rexley-
all of the
Rexley brothers,
sponsors
sorry, yes.
today.
They're back there,
Ayers
the other
Farmer
one that,
Mutual
we
Insurance,
had
Bob
interest
Muir
in is
Farms,
the
Bride
Genesis
on
cow.
Farms
But this
Incorporated,
Rexley bred cow-
Briley and Jerseys,
Wow,
Charlene
gee,
Jerseys,
ever.
Canadian Livestock Photography,
Never showing her
Conestoga
numbers, just the
Agri-Systems
best she could
Incorporated,
today.
Cranston Farms, Drentex Jerseys, East Gen, Fall Horizons Heifer Care, Farm Credit Canada, Willow Creek Genetics, Heartland Veterinary and Embryo Services, Lencrest Jerseys, Little Brown Cow, Mark Ridge Holsteins and Jerseys, Merit Insurance Brokers Incorporated, Glenn Smith, New Life Mills, Oasis Jerseys, the Oxford Jersey Club, Perennial Jerseys, Rockella Jerseys, Select Sarge Innovations, and Suregain Trow Nutrition. And again, thank you to John and Sandy Kingdon, the conveners of this event too. Now in the ring, the senior 3-year-old class.
Well, so far today, Russell, the young cows are moving on to, I want to say older cows. I hate to say it, but to senior 3-year-olds are not old cows. But
No.
oh my, the milk that's went through the memories on these young individuals already. It looks as though the judging speed and the preparation speed is in sync. We
Yes.
haven't seen anything overbagged, underbagged really. It's for the most part, everything here coming to the ring is bang on, right on the money, which is really, as an exhibitor myself, it's frustrating when things don't come into play as you really would like for them to be, to exhibit the best of the attributes of your animal. It's the synchronization today is absolutely spot on this beautiful sunny day in Ancaster, Russell.
We might call it synchronicity, which is,
There you go.
I think, Sting or something.
I'm not going to ask you to say that 5 times straight, but
no,
anyway, we got it.
or to sing the song either, in that sense. But yeah, it is. I know there's been times when we've both seen shows where, for whatever reason, large classes, the judging is later than expected, and then you've got cows that are losing their suspensory. Well, we won't go into that in too much depth, but it can happen, or just be overbagged and really uncomfortable. But today these cows are just nicely filled, and the timing has been good, and it's been very, very serious, and Jeff would be well aware of his timing, and he's just kept going and made his decisions confidently,
Absolutely.
gives everybody a fair look, but doesn't play around making those decisions either.
No, that's
Gets
exactly
out there
right.
and gets the job done. And my goodness, look at these gorgeous, gorgeous udders and really nice dairy, like this open ribbedness, if that is even a word, of
Yes.
these cows, is something else. Again, quite strong tops on them, handling their feet and legs well.
Yeah, we're just looking at that premiere that's exhibited from RJF as a bred cow that is now, it's Willow Creek's cow. Just an extraordinary mammary system, and just so silky and dairy and wet.
And I remember,
the Genesis cow that we
yeah.
were referring to, thought it was her earlier, but you just see the quality that is exuding in this class, and particularly these last two animals.
beautiful yearling when she sold a couple of years ago, and now
Yes.
she's a senior 3-year-old and has turned out well. And Kingdon's cow has got another great udder here, and Jeff is leading a cow that's got a great frame and a great udder as well, showing how that evening family has
influence,
bred on
absolutely.
and on and
The
on.
length of the forudder that just always captured my imagination when you see a cow with an udder that she had. You can certainly see a resemblance in this cow here.
Now, I'm going to suspect that this cow up here, as being a Joel out of a Blackstone, is going to have a really good rear udder, and she does.
Oh, she does.
And so that'll be Larry Sheardown will be cheering now. Anyway, that's a Rexley bred cow that
Yes.
is part of his legacy to the world. And yeah, we're just going to keep that. So Jeff has made his provisional pull, and has Pierre Boulet in first there with the Rexley cow, and Genesis cow is a little piece down the class, but still an amazing cow. Just something, Jamie, when you see a class and you'd say people would love to take home the ones that are towards the bottom of the class today, and they could be winners in another time.
points. Yeah, that's exactly right. And maybe in a different stage of lactation or another calf might be a beneficial more to them than maybe something that's up above them. We've all seen that sometimes the better cows is 4 and 5 year old age cows are the ones that may be in the middle of the pack or down toward the end. And it's just maturity will really benefit them more and more as time goes on. And we see that in all kinds of young cow classes. But you got to judge them for what they are. You look at these rear udders and how square they are from behind, and the nice the drop to their flank and springer rib. Just an extraordinary group of cows.
Yeah, this is really quite something. And these Joels, they tend to develop as they get older. They can be nice, almost heiferish sometimes, and that's nothing wrong with that as young cows, and then they develop and expand their capacity. And
That's unblocked. That's mean we're over 50 bucks. We're over 60 for one time. You can unblock it. These are the ones. Unblock it. Just have to say okay. Oh, I don't know where you are. You have the app? Where's here? Do you have the app? Or
If we could have the 4-year-olds to the marshalling area, please. 4-year-olds to the marshalling area. The senior 3-year-olds are just coming for their final lineup. So 4-year-olds to the marshalling area, please. This senior 3-year-old class is sponsored by Little Brown Cow, and again, thank you to Little Brown Cow for their sponsorship of this class. The first in class will receive a certificate from Select Sire Generation, and the best bred and owned will receive a certificate from East Shen.
speaking of Little Brown Cow, I had some roasted squash, Jamie, yesterday with bacon cheese sauce from the Little Brown Cow store that is absolutely amazing. I know we don't want to, I know there's a little bit of dairy product in there, though, because it was a cheese sauce with bacon in it. Put bacon in everything, but put it in cheese sauce and then add some roasted squash, and it is like you don't have to eat anything else. You just want to sit there and eat the whole container.
In first place in the senior 3-year-old class, ring number 91, the entry of Ferrum Boulet Incorporated with Rexley Joel Carousel. In second place, ring number 90, the entry of Brydon Farms Incorporated with Brydon Tequila Evening. In third place, ring number 93, the entry of Willow Creek Jerseys with RJF Premier Crunch. And in fourth place, ring number 88, Charlene Jerseys with Charlene Velocity Nexus. Now with his reasons on this class, our judge for today, Jeff Stevens.
This class here, I think we have a nice pair to be on top today. I think our first place cow just shows more quality all the way through her mammary system today. Our cow is just a little blending, a little tighter of her forudder attachment. Then our cow is going to follow out in second. Second place cow falls in quite nicely. Cow for me that has a little different advantage of length of frame, a little more cow from end to end. A cow is just a little longer of a forudder than the cow is follows out in third. Third place cow, a cow for me, just more balance. A cow has got more forerib, more rear flank, just more balance all the way through than the cow is going to follow out in fourth.
The complete results of the senior 3-year-old class, again this class sponsored by Little Brown Cow. Ring number 88 was fourth. That's the entry of Charlene Jersey, Charlene Velocity Nexus. Ring number 90 was second. The entry of Brydon Farms Incorporated, Brydon Tequila Evening. Ring number 91 was our class winner. The entry of Ferme Pierre Boulet Incorporated with Rexley Joel Carousel. Ring number 92 placed sixth. Ring number 93 was third. The entry of Willow Creek Jerseys, RJF Premier Crunch. And ring number 94 was fifth. Next into the ring, we have the 4-year-olds.
Who am I to talk? There's Antigonish's finest, Sandy McGilvery. I was going to say leading the charge, but making sure the charge leaves the ring. What a guy.
Okay, I like the angle better, but second kicked over. It doesn't want to run through.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to do it again for the next class.
Whatever you would like, Jenna. You
Okay, we have the 4-year-olds in the class now, and leading the class is Charlene Certified Venue Viva, owned by Lornella, the distinguished Mr. Sandy McGilvery, who has just left the ring, John and Sandy Kingdon, and Charlene Jerseys themselves. She is a daughter of Pleasant Nook WR Whiskey River HG Venue, which would be a connection with Neil Hunter and Hometown Sires, and she's got a tequila dam as well. Then we have Golden Tequila Divine, who is a tequila daughter from Glenn and Sheila Burgess out of a Regan Dam cow that did very nicely at Lindsay a little while ago. And then we have the winner of last year's maybe senior 3-year-old class, who's Tanbark Joel's Kryptonite, a Joel daughter out of SSF Moordale Irwin Karma from Jenny Butcher and Wes Kuntz of Tanbark Jerseys and Little Brown Cow Store. So that's Kryptonite's back here again this year. And then Willow Creek Verbatim Grease. I guess somebody's been watching old videos from the past, you know. Grease is the word, by Arethusa Verbatim Response, and out of Rockella KK Gretchen, so probably some Huronia breeding back of this cow from Richard and Teresa of Willow Creek, the Osborns of Willow Creek Jerseys, Hagersville. There she is right on the screen. There is Grease, and does not look greasy at all to me.
Not at all.
She looks like a dairy cow. And then 110 is Teresa Osborne leading Willow Creek Giller Sunset, a Shamrock Giller daughter. And we remember when we see Gillers, we remember Glenamore Gold Prize, the 5-time Royal Champion who had her 5th Royal Championship 20 years ago when Miss Altamai Kaur from Salvaza, Kentucky was the judge and did an amazing job judging. And we talked about people like Terry Packard judging this week, and Altamai was judging the Royal 20 years ago, and was the person who got to make prize the Grand Champion jersey for the 5th time. So quite a thing, and now we have a granddaughter of prize back in the ring with Teresa on the halter.
This entry number 95 from Charlene, I think, had an extraordinary year last year. The 3-year-old at the championship show, and then going to Madison, and winning the her cow class, senior 3-year-old class last year at the World Dairy Expo. Just an extraordinary cow. Actually, junior 3, I believe, last year at World Dairy Expo. So, calved back in, developed well, and absolutely is going to be making some noise possibly in this class. And there's really all 5 of these cows are extraordinary cows. But it's good to see this cow back out again, because you got a lot of fans last year at World Dairy Expo, including here in Ontario and in Canada throughout.
I remember how excited Lornella was when he saw some. I don't even know if he. I'm not sure. I think he was at Stratford.
He was. I remember him coming into the barn.
So excited by this cow.
Lornie was going down through the barn, and she had just won the class, and he was making a beeline for Kingdon String. And I told Lornie, he may not remember it, but I said, I think that's the fastest I have ever watched Lornie move for that stretch. Like he was coming down the stretch, as we say at the Kentucky Derby, and with good reason. And when Lorne Ellis sees something he likes, with the great breeding and the great exhibition and great development, and what an eye he has throughout the years, hardly any could go into detail in terms of looking at cows and seeing into them what Lorne Ellis has. So really nice that he's owning part of this great animal from Charlene.
Please bring the 5-year-old to the marshalling area, please. 5-year-old. And the mature cow, there's only one 5-year-old, so have your mature cows on deck.
pretty impressive to see cows like this that know how to milk and yet are so well put together as well in this class. The epitome of dairiness, a lot of them here, you know. Nice fill of milk, and as we said, Jamie, not overdone, but just proving that they know what their job is day in, day out. And then on the one day, they switch over and say, okay, tell me how structurally correct I am as well.
That's right. Really nice cow from Burgess's. It's done extraordinarily well as these two cows from Willow Creek. And the butcher's cow, just a beautiful cow, beautifully rear-uddered cow that we have. And here's the tags. As we see, the cow from last year, the success story from Charlene is going in first position.
Yeah, and that's quite something, being champion of a good show, a really great show like Stratford, then winning her class at World Dairy Expo, and then traveling up to Toronto after that, and showed quite successfully at the Royal as well. And I don't know that I see Lornella here, but I bet he's watching online and is pretty excited about this cow being where she is in the class as well. But yeah, a lot of past on these cows and a lot of history already as senior, as 4-year-olds. You know, that there's some real depth in this class, despite the fact that there's only 5 in it. There's 5 heroes, we might say, or heroines. I guess be careful how we say that. Heroines of the breed here. Boy, oh boy. And Jeff is really giving those udders a real good look.
And he's also looking at these feet and legs too. He likes the, you know, Jeff has put a few of these hooves on the box before. Not these particular ones, I would say, but he knows what a foot should look like for the longevity of an animal's life, and he takes every part of the cow in consideration, and that's extraordinary. That's good to see, and I think young judges alike should take that into context and take that into mind when they are striking out in their next judging assignment, when we have shows once again, hopefully, provided we're safe to do so.
So one more walk around the ring, and then they'll be lined up in their final lineup. Yeah, and the cow we have coming out in the 5-year-old class, there is just one, but there's a number of about 5 mature cows. She is about a 93-point cow, and undoubtedly could stand some competition as well. But today she gets to strut her stuff by herself. So Venue being a son of Vogue, Arethusa On-Time Vogue, who is the dam of Viral, and a daughter of Veronica as well, a 94-point daughter of the 97-point Veronica. Pretty cool, the sire of this cow.
Second one is the one from Willow Creek, number 98.
Yes.
In this 4-year-old class, and again, thank you to Lencrest Jerseys for their sponsorship. The winner is ring number 95, the entry of Lornella, S. McGilvery, J&S Kington, and Charlene Jerseys, with Charlene certified Venue Viva. In second place, ring number 98, the entry of Willow Creek Jerseys with Willow Creek Verbatim Grease. In third place, ring number 96, the entry of Glenn and Sheila Burgess with Golden Tequila Divine. In fourth place, ring number 97, the entry of Jenny Butcher with Tanbark Joel's Kryptonite. And completing the class, number 110, the entry of Willow Creek Jerseys, Willow Creek Giller Sunset, who is in fifth. And now with his reasons on this class, our judge for today, Judge Stevens.
Nice class winner here. I think a cow for me that wins this class kind of handily. A cow that's just an extra foot longer than the rest of the cows in the class. A cow that's got that hard top. A cow that's got a well blending of fore udder and rear udder attachment. I think of our second place cow and third, a little tighter placing here, but I think our second place cow just a little neater and tidier through her teat placement, a little nicer levelness of her fore udder, especially on the offside over our third place cow. Third place cow, probably one of the better legged cows in the class. I think a cow that's got a lot of width of chest, a cow that tracks out really good. A cow for me is just a little more blending of all her parts, and a cow's going to follow out in fourth.
Well, once again, as there's some pictures being taken, I think it's, I can't stress it enough that we don't oftentimes look at the front end of the cow. We always race to the rear end of the cow, Russell, to see that rear udder and rump width and correctness of rump. And I think it's natural to want to see that, and it's very important. But as we look at the front ends of these cows at these angles, it's really nice to see the width and the correctness and squareness of these cows and the chest that they exhibit, leading back to some really nice extreme cages that they have, along with the quality of udders that we've already witnessed and admired.
I'm virtually speechless, Jamie. After that
Must have been something
soliloquy.
else.
But now, oh yeah, I better. We're going to remind. No, I guess he's getting ready for the championship already. Tim Henshaw, a man well ahead of himself, and the rest of society. And so there goes our class winner, getting in for her picture to be taken, her official picture to be taken, and the other 4-year-olds heading back to the barn for the moment. And yeah, just one 5-year-old cow who's going to be coming into the ring here very shortly. I think it'd be appropriate if you did that as well. The rest of us will cry. So yeah, as we noted, there's just one 5-year-old cow, but my goodness, what an outstanding entry in this class. She would be from Starcrest and Oasis jerseys. Robinson influence there, and also the Killing family from Oxford County. And this is Audabelle, so she's been bred in Quebec. Hot Money Nikki, who is by Hometown on the Money, and out of a Marlowe bred dam, Marlowe Giller Nika. So that's the cow that's in the ring right now for the Killing family, with Josh on the halter. And in these classes, it shows there will be from time to time a little lighter class, and this is it. But boy, oh boy, 93-point cow in this class. So the average classification in this class is 93. We would remind you that the Jersey Ontario is once again hosting their third sale this year, a production sale on December 12th. It's an online sale, and there'll be about 30 head of really good milk cows to help you with fall and winter milk, and also with the SNF changes that are coming up in 2021.
The winner in the 5-year-old class, thank you to Rockella Jerseys, Laurenella, for sponsorship, is ring number 99, Audabelle Hot Money Nikki, owned by Starcrest and Oasis Jerseys.
Just one cow in the class, but a cow that definitely has the look we're looking for today. A cow that's very open of her rib and dairiness all the way through. A cow that carries herself well around the ring with a well-attached mammary.
That is quite a cow, Russell. I mean, there's only one in there, and I've seen lots of classes with 5-year-olds that she could have done very well in over the last few years, to be quite honest, with that openness and symmetry that she possesses.
Big barrel,
wide rear udder, and stands around that wide rear udder very correctly and square.
Correctly.
Very nice, very, very impressive cow, even though there's only one in the class.
Okay, we've got, and this cow 93 points, and we would say that the classification team at Holstein, who looks after all breeds, has done a really, really fair and honest job in making this cow 93 as well. Cow that moves easily, a cow that's got a great udder, carried well up, and shows dairiness and dairy strength, as you had mentioned as well. I think just got a message here from the Western Canada, from the legendary Tyson Flamen, and he is really impressed with that 4-year-old class that we just had as well. What a class, is the comment from the legendary Tyson Flamen. So we appreciate the fact that people all over the world, as Neil Smith would say, are watching this great show today, live on the internet. So we are now ready very, very soon for our mature cow class, expecting 5 wonderful cows in that class. I should probably be doing my math on what the average classification will be in that class, but it's going to be a long piece over 90 anyway. So we're going to have 5 mature cows, and I think Dr. Henshaw will be calling them.
Next into the ring, we have the mature cow class. And thank you to Yearling Jerseys, Brian and Linda Raymer, for their sponsorship of this mature cow class. And immediately following the mature cow class, we are going to move on to the senior and grand champion. Following the group of 3. And then there would be Premier Breeder and Premier Exhibitor banners.
I forgot your name one time. Your dad reminded me. Yeah, I got a cutie patootie little one. I got another one.
I'll go check with him.
When's breeder's herd?
Yeah, we're just discussing.
Okay, you want it before?
One clarification: after we have the mature cow class, then we will have the breeder's herd, then we will have the parade for grand champion. So breeder's herd is next after this mature cow class. Breeder's herd following grand champion, then there will be awards for premier breeder and exhibitor. But next into the ring, the mature cow class. And again, thank you to Yearling Jerseys, Brian and Linda Raymer, for their sponsorship of this class.
As Russell is calculating the average classification of this mature cow class, he's getting his last sock off of his other foot so he can do his calculation with his toes. So it'll only be momentarily, I hope, from that standpoint. But nevertheless, we want to commend the job that Jeff Stevenson and John DeVries are doing here today. And the pinnacle of this is obviously usually the Grand Championship, but a lot of people will comment that it's really nice to see the mature cows come in, and I think that's good for everybody, just to see the longevity and reminisce sometimes. And I've got the encyclopedia behind me. If there's some notaries about these cows as they have reaching the pinnacle and the climax of their careers, it's great to see if some of these have actually had some other accolades in the previous years, whether it be a heifer or a young cow, and I'm sure if they have, Mr. Russell Gammon will let us know about it. Russell's got his socks back on his feet, and he's
No
got all
pressure.
calculations
no
now.
pressure.
So
Well, I got
we're
the
all good.
calculator out on my phone.
Oh.
So we got Spats Premier Amelia here. She is actually exhibited by Quality and Agra Burr. She is a 94-point cow. She is by Hawarden Impulse Premier and out of a Giller Dam, bred by the Spats family in Pennsylvania. She is followed closely in the ring by Golden Faker Dynamic Fakir, who is by Haute-Pré Luchanel Faker, and she's a 93-point cow. Then we have a 95-point cow, Genesis Excitation Hannah, bred by the Warwicks at Exeter, Ontario, owned by Desrosiers, Sicard, and Boulay. And she is an excitation out of a Rexley-bred on-time dam. And theoretically, there should have been a couple more cows. We'll see if they are going to appear or not, or whether we are at our quota. Sheldon, we had 2 more cows that were entered, and there seems to be some discussion going on here. Discussion is good. Outcomes are even better. We've got one of those cows coming now, and that would be number 104, who is the Rosalie Reddy Action Xenia, who is an action daughter bred by the Nixon family at Upper Rockwood, Ontario, and Sheldon Shane from Lynn, Ontario, being her exhibitor. And I don't know, maybe that is going to be our grand finale. We'll see. Our marshal, Jamie Wood, is looking seriously around here. He's in motion. But we've got at least 4 cows here, so I may have to change my math a little bit. And I think Jamie is coming back, and he is indicating. So I guess we're going to have, yeah, it looks like we've got the 4 cows here, and I shall do the magic math. Jamie, you should be able to do this in your head. Getting all kinds of help on how to do the math here. Okay, invalid format used. You're absolutely correct. How do I go back? 1 equals 374 divided by 4. 93.5. So there's a 93.5 average classification on these 4 beautiful mature cows that are here. We've got cows born between 2011 and 2014 in this class being exhibited now. And the excitement will be building here, and the breeders' herd is going to follow this mature cow class, and then I believe they'll be doing senior champion and grand champion after that, and so that'll just let the tension build. But right now the premier Amelia cow from Quality and Agribur with Matt Lang on the halter is leading the way at the moment, followed by Pierre with the 95-point Genesis Excitation Hannah, and then the Golden Faker Dynamic cow, and then Rosalie Ready Action Xenia. 4 really good representatives of mature Jersey cows. And this Rosalie cow will be 10 years old next July as well, so 9-year-old cow from Sheldon Shane there in this class as well. Look at the height on those rear udders, and those udders above the hocks for cows that have probably had, well, at least 5 or 6 calves.
Oh, that's right, Russell. They've got. You look at these animals. There's years to go, and with the amount of production and the amount of calves that they've had, the ages that they're in, you don't look at any of these cows and thinking, well, this might be the last time they ever show. And certainly becoming a group of cows that are going to have a lot more productive life still left in them. We talk about productive life, and certainly some of the indices on bulls and cows alike have been influential and contributed to the overall population. But when you look at these, seeing is believing, and the screen is not lying. These are extremely nice cows that have long lives yet left to live.
Here's a statement in from Wales. James Evans has said, "Great show. I have not moved off my seat."
The mature cow class in first place, ring number 100, Spatz Premier Amelia, now owned by Quality Holsteins and Agribur. In second place, ring number 102, the entry of C. DeRosier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulet with Genesis Excitation Hannah. In third place, ring number 101, the entry of Glenn and Sheila Burgess with Golden Fakir Dynamic. And completing the class, ring number 104, the entry of Sheldon Shane, Rosalie Ready Action Xenia. Now with his reasons on this class, our judge for today, Jess Stevens.
Really nice pair of cows to start the class here. I think very similar kind of in their makeup, very balanced cows. Our first place cow, I think it's just the cow's got a little more loin strength when she's out on the move. The cow's just a little more correct through her hooks and her pin placement today. And I prefer maybe just the way her udder ties into her body wall and everything all the way through her fore-udder attachment over the second place cow. Second place cow for me types in quite nicely, balanced cow with a nice open rib, a cow that has some extra width of chest, and I think that's where she takes it over the cow in third. Just a little more width of chest up through the front when she gets standing over like a really larger framed cow. It's going to come out in third. Third place cow just more frame, more balance, more cleanliness all the way through, and the cow's just a little nicer balance through her fore-udder and rear udder attachment than her fourth place cow today.
Going to slip in while we have a break in the action and say that we've had a message from James Evans in Wales and said, "Great show. I have not moved off my seat. Think I will be milking later than usual here this evening." 5-hour time difference there. We're about 3 o'clock here. It'll be 8 o'clock in Wales.
Next into the ring, ladies and gentlemen, the Breeders' Herd. Breeders' Herd into the ring, please.
Next year? Okay. Hold you to that, Timmy. You have to get them all here. You can start typing production cows even the way it is. Now, the way we're behaving in Toronto.
You would know from
Just arrogance.
Can they hear us?
I could kill it. I gotta bring it there. There, I killed it. Okay, now we're back live. Only when I'm saying something that else to cover do I mute it.
Are we good again?
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a breeder's herd class, a prestige class in any show. This is a group of 3 animals, all with the same prefix, and at least one animal in the group must be owned in some way by the holder of the prefix. This class is sponsored by Glenn Smith of Merit Insurance Brokers Incorporated, and we are expecting 5 breeder's herds in this class. This will be followed by the parade for champion, grand champion.
Who is FCC? Well, our About Us is really about you, the goals you want to reach, and the dreams you have. You're invested in your business, and as the only lender 100% invested in Canadian agriculture and food, so are we. Because a dream is just the start. It also needs a lender who understands where your dreams come from, where they can go, and what it takes to get there. If you want to start, grow, or transform your agriculture or food business, we can help. Because we're not just your lender. We're your champion, your catalyst, and we're behind you every step of the way. We are FCC. Dream. Grow. Thrive.
We have a shout out from Daryl Marcus of Mark Ridge Holsteins and Jerseys at Ingersoll. 5 breeders' herds. That's amazing for any show. Congratulations to the breeders. And what a lovely comment. 6 actually. Oh yeah, there are 2. Yeah, 2 Bride-on entries. There's so many good animals there. They could just bring out 6 breeders' herds. Pretty amazing.
Always a bride on, never a bride.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the judge has reached a decision in the breeder's herd. In first place, ring number 109, the entry of Glenn and Sheila Burgess, golden jerseys. In second place, we have ring number 105, an entry of Bride On Farms Incorporated. In third place, we have Bride On B Team. In third place. In fourth place, we have 106, Richard and Teresa Osborne of Willow Creek, followed by 107, Charlene Farms in fifth, and sixth in Tanbark, Jenny Butcher.
I think all the breeders and exhibitors and
Did I get that wrong?
people around should give these great herds a great round of applause. It's a great honor to see these herds come out, tremendous bunch of young cows and older cows out here all together. I think it's very interesting to see that Bride On brought two out. That's pretty impressive to see two herds from one breeding operation come out and compete in a breeder's herd class. But I think our first place breeder's herd for me, I think it's balanced from end to end. I think these cows are cut of the same mold. Their cows are great feet and legs, great mammary systems. I think this group kind of blends a little nicer than our second place group. Our second place group, I think as well, I think this group here is the height and width of rear udders and maturity of the second place group over the third place group today. Third place group for me, it's just uniformity of the young cows, tightness of udder, and blending of all their parts over our fourth place group. Fourth place group, a group with this more uniformity through their mammaries, height and width of rear udder, and dairy quality all the way through this fourth place group over the fifth place group. Congratulations to everybody in this class.
And again, just a terrific, terrific group. 6 breeders' herds here in this show today. And congratulations to the winning entry, the entry of golden jerseys, Glenn and Sheila Burgess. Next into the ring, we will have the parade for grand champion. We'll be a minute taking pictures here, and then we'll have the parade for grand champion, starting with the intermediate champions. We do a senior champion. Don't you bring the intermediate with that? Okay. Sorry. It is the senior champion that is coming through next.
Well, they can be there. Yeah. Somewhere close at hand.
Okay, so senior champion is the next class in, and then we will have the parade for grand champion. If John or Sandy Kingdon could please come to the judges' table, please, John or Sandy Kingdon. Who have put together a gift for John and Sandy Kingdon, who have been the organizers and lead drivers of this first Ancaster Fall Classic. Congratulations, John and Sandy, on a great job, and thank you very much for your leadership in this. Give them a nice round of applause. Yeah, but you have to come over here. We're on a short leash. Get me on a short leash. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. This is definitely, I couldn't have done it without a couple extra people. Bev Spriel did a ton of work to get this done. Martina Arth she's here at the fairgrounds. She did a lot of trouble. Kim Ray did all the online stuff, and of course my wife, who pretty much supports most of my harebrained ideas, but this one almost put her over the edge. But thanks for coming. It's a tremendous show. Thanks, everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, your champion. From the senior 3-year-old class, we have ring number 91, Rexley Joel Carousel, owned by Ferme Pierre Boulet Incorporated. And ring number 90, the entry of Bride On Farms Incorporated with Bride On Tequila Evening. The 4-year-olds are represented by 95, Charlene Certified Venue Viva, owned by Lauren Ellis, Sandy McGilvery, J&S Kingdon, and Charlene Jerseys. The second prize 4-year-old is Willow Creek Verbatim Grease, owned by Willow Creek Jerseys. The winning 5-year-old, ring number 99, Audible Hot Money Nicky, owned by Starcrest and Oasis Jerseys. And the mature cows represented by 100, Spats Premier Amelia, owned by Quality Jerseys and Agribur, and 102, Genesis Excitation Hannah, owned by C. DeRosier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our parade for senior champion.
And what's exciting is how great the udders are on these cows, how the udders match the cows, and how the other way across with a lot of milk out of these cows. Doubled the amount of milk that used to come out of Jerseys a long time ago, and still able to stand up to production. And so we see that senior 3-year-old has been one of the ones that's tabbed to go forward. 4-year-old and the 2 mature cows have got the nod from Judge Stevens. Anybody else who mentions mail-in ballots is going to be asked to leave the grounds immediately, and you will be escorted by Martina Arth to your car.
We get down to the final here in the senior champion class. These are the 4 cows for me to kind of stand out in the show for senior champion here. I think cows, that you analyze these cows, they got length of frame, through, and well-attached mammary systems. I'm going to congratulate my champion, reserve, and honorable mention in the senior division here, and give them a good round of applause when I do.
Who would be the best bred and owned of the show, in a sense.
That's exactly right.
That would be the honorable mention senior champion as well, with Sandy on the halter.
These 3 cows are certainly championship worthy. You look at them from any angle, from front end to rear end, from side view of either side, and they are just that. And we really love the quality, and they fit together quite nicely, this Grand and Reserve and the honorable mention. And to come out here looking like that, going to war, milking like crazy, another she'll even look that much better. But anyway, it's good to bring her out. I'm glad she made the ride and come here and exhibit her this young cow, and it's just extraordinary what we're seeing here, and we've seen it all day long from the very first class to the very last one, Russell. Quality and good volume of cattle, and as I said earlier, this Jersey show is Jersey breed is just doing an extraordinary job of breeding great cattle.
Well, yeah, people are going to enjoy seeing both the udders, but the frames on these cows as well. I mean,
so next, ladies and gentlemen, we have the parade for grand champion of the show.
So maybe we don't need it.
Well, as we come in here for grand, this is the grand finale. No pun intended, Russell. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to you. Thanks to Tim. It's been a really a good show and been fun to do. And I feel like one of those sportscasters. And this is a championship game for us for 2020. And hopefully we will find 2021 greets us with a little better situation to exhibit cattle and just to be in life in general. So, but again, hats off to everybody, the judges, the Bullvine, for making this possible so people outside of this barn can see this show, as well as Bev Spreel in Jersey, Ontario, for doing an extraordinary job being very visible out here with their breeders and exhibitors and members of promoting a show that the people have really enjoyed.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a parade for Grand Champion. First into the ring, we have the Junior Champions. Ring number 31, Drentex Getaway Bell, owned by Weeksdale, Blair and Jamie Weeks, and Frank and Diane Borba. The Reserve Junior Champion, ring number 30, Brydon Andreas Jigsy, owned by Brydon Jerseys. The Intermediate Champions, number 59, Goldwyn Joyride Louisa, owned by Glenn and Sheila Burgess. And number 85, Ducray V. Livius June, owned by C. DeRosier, J. and C. Sicard, and P. Boulay. Those are your intermediate champions. And your senior champions, ring number 91, the winning senior 3-year-old, Rexley Joel Carousel, owned by Ferme Pierre Boulay. And ring number 100, Spats Premier Amelia, owned by Quality Jerseys and Agribur. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our parade for Grand Champion. Give them a nice round of applause.
We're down to the champion overall here. I think we did say thanks to John and Sandy Kingdon for putting on this event. I think the exhibitors looks like they enjoyed themselves here at Ancaster Fairgrounds and put up for me and John to judge today. Also like to thank John for coming along. Known John a long time, and one day we were riding around. I told him I was judging the show, and he wanted to know if he could come along for the ride. So I said sure. You know, around, everybody knows him. I think he's really had a lot of fun out here. He said it's good seeing dairy cows with great memories, and he's been really complimentary of what we've seen today. So I think our two Jersey heifers here that Junior reserved this morning. I think if we had a Royal Winter Fair this year, I think these two heifers would have stood right at the top of the class. I think they're going to make great young cows. They got the right qualities to them, angularity and long frames to them. Then our intermediate champion, Malcolm Yearling, has a bright future, as I said, in class. And then the intermediate champion, a cow that's got a tremendous mammary system and lots of strength and width. And then we went down to our senior cows here. For me, two cows that, when you see these kind of dairy cows and have open ribs and angularity and track out and a great set of feet and legs, I think we got to appreciate what we see. But I think we should give these exhibitors that are in the ring and the exhibitors back in the barn a great round of applause for putting on a great show of cattle today.